Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
Welcome to Tuesday night. It's Golden Guys, just like the Golden Girls without all the sex appeal. We are here in Shady Acres. I got my fellows with me right here. I've got my Blanche. I got my Dorothy. Well, I'm Dorothy. I got Rose. We got a few Sophias tonight. We got a new cousin from the outside right now. Before we bring anybody else in right now, how we doing, DS?
I'm great. Looking forward to the show. I missed it last week, I think. So
yeah, you were working hard for the man.
Yeah.
Yep. There we go. Knights, what's going on in your world, my friend?
Doing good. I could have sworn I was like, this would be a great thing to say for the intro, and yeah, I forgot. But,
we're working on that. We're working.
And any new timers? I was looking at some of the old Golden Guys videos, and I was like, wow. I mean, we've done like so many, but it's awesome. If there's anyone new watching, welcome. And
yeah, our 100th show spectacular has special guests from the pulp world and heritage world. They'll be coming and joining us on our 100th episode, which will be sometime in April, which is also just coincides with our 2-year anniversary. So before we bring on the show and tell, we got a guy who's in the background right now who I've known for a long time. A couple of us have met him at some cons here and there. He's one of the best Golden Age collectors out there. He's a fan. He's a fan of the show. He's got a great collection going on. He picked up some great stuff. I asked him to come on board because usually I get his books to show in hand. But I broke him out of his woodwork behind the scenes. Everybody welcome my friend Lewis. How we doing, Lewis? Here he comes. Oh, hang on. We'll keep his display name as that. There we go. There's Lewis. How we doing, my friend?
Doing good.
Good. Welcome. So,
wish I could bring a better face.
Yeah, that's what it was. Everybody's asking, "Ooh, Foxy, we're gonna get some good-looking people." Well, you qualify as the best-looking one of this bunch for sure. So that's at least until we get Anthony and Jeff on, and we won't mention the legend, but he's cute in his own right, like a dog. Okay, so what we have here, I'm going to shout out the chat a little bit first because I don't want to fall behind on that. First up is the great Mr. Gretzky, 9966, one of the best out there, who's one of my favorite guys. If you ever want to know about some MLJ or some Peps or some Archies, that's your guy. We can't have a show without Chris Barrett. We just can't. That's the way rules are. Look at that Silver Surfer mug right there. That's
not the coolest cup.
If we have Chris Barrett and we have Ricky, we know it's a real show. Thanks, Ricky, for joining us. Been a fan of ours for well over a year. One of our biggest fans right here. He is making sure and keeping our Discord server perfect and running. Nightwing, great having him on. Great having him here. So we brought some Foxy girls, pretty much. That's Lewis. And here we got Mr. Gretzky again. Cap and Comics, always great. Ahoy, mates. Ahoy, ahoy. Ahoy. Mates and mermaids, we hope. We never know. I promise Liz will come on to Golden Guys one time. Emperor's Collectibles, great having you here. Thank you very much for joining us. Always our pleasure right now. We've got G-Man Collectibles, and we can't have a G-Man without at least a couple of G's in here. So let me bring out our mother G guy, the Golden Age Guru himself. How are we doing over there?
I'm doing all right here. Just
working
some
on
technical
stuff.
Issues here. Yeah.
It's a lot of problems over there.
I had it too. I don't know.
Now, Lewis and I are in a snow-covered tundra right now. What'd you get, about 18 inches out by you?
Yeah, something close.
Yeah, in one day. We got dumped.
Damn.
Yep. Streambots, they're running for everybody. Thank God for them. Here's a guy that everybody loves to know. It goes our informative, our very good encyclopedia, and our fact checker, Anthony Perdue. One of our best right there. Mass Marvel is lurking in the shadows, making sure that everybody's here for their faucet pleasure. Thank you, our very own Billy Batson right there. Well, So good having everybody here. I tried to do the chat as good as the legend and everything else, but we just have some fun with it. So we'll do some show and tell here. I would like to lead off to get my stuff out of the way. I did some trading this weekend at a local con. Like I said, I was going to go. Yes, there was some Golden Age comics there, and if Jambo was here, I probably would have. I probably should have gotten the Jumbo 63, but it wasn't in the best condition. And if it was 69, I was all in, but 63 probably wasn't worth the price. Plus, I got some other books instead. These aren't Golden Age books, but just some books I want to share with you. 3, because congratulations to me for finally breaking the fourth wall and getting some Kirby fourth wall books. I mean, I'm a big fan of Jack Kirby, and I've read these already from years past, but I picked up the Triple Crown, in my opinion, because I love the Orion story. So this is why you got the Mr. Miracle, you got the origin of Orion, as well as First Steppenwolf, and my first copy of Forever People. And if you're a Thanos fan, might as well know where he got the idea from. So there you go, right there. There is my 3 there, Cobra Kirby's. But it ain't a JD show without a Star Wars book, and I picked up this bad boy too.
Oh, I love that.
One of my favorites variant covers of any era is
Very
when they
cool.
combine my favorite of, again, Journey in Mystery 83 is my favorite cover of the first appearances. This is number 2. Sorry, you AF-15 fans. This is a better cover. It's harder to find. The 10 cents is always in the right place. So I love that book. That's what I picked up this past weekend there, as long as some bunch of other stuff. But mostly just, like filler-ins and some Planet of the Apes and some Inferior 5. Speaking of Inferior 5, let's go. Who else picked up? I want to show Guru. I want to see what you got this week, because you got a really special book. I know that.
Yeah, I had a pretty good Golden Age pickup this week of stuff. I'll show you a couple of cool books that you just don't see that often. They're in really nice shape. This is a Headline Comics number 3.
Nice.
Just a cool tank cover. And
Oh,
this is
yeah.
probably, I don't know, 6'5", 7'0".
Okay.
God dang this.
Yeah. Nice.
So it's a cool book.
Looks great in Mylar.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice out of Mylar too. This is even nicer, number 4.
Oh yeah.
This
Cool.
one's like maybe
I haven't
75.
seen that. I haven't seen that book in a while.
Lord. Yeah,
Yeah. Yellow and reds look really sharp.
it's a super sharp book. I'm trying my best with this freaking glare.
Yeah, there you go. That looks good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna show several if that's cool. Just get them out the way.
Do it.
Pick this up too. A cool sci-fi
Love that.
space adventures. This
Oh, I've
is,
never seen that one.
I had to get
Cool.
this because it's probably a 7.5.
I've never seen that.
It's a really nice book. Space Adventures number 19, Giordano cover.
Yep.
Just a cool robot cover. Don't see this often, especially in this shape. So how
Last
to
time I
pick
saw
that up?
was at Bedrock City had one at one of the cons,
Mhm.
and I went back a half hour later and it was gone already. So
Wow, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that book.
Yeah, I've only seen maybe once. I mean, I don't see it often, so I had to snag it. This is cool because it's just a misprint with the color strike.
I love it.
It's like a
Oh, wow.
pink, magenta color. They missed some
Yeah.
type of color, maybe a deep blue or some type.
Right.
But it's just really fun to see, kind of in a different style.
Oh yeah, that's what. Obviously, that's one of my favorite books. So.
Yeah, and then 2 more guys. This one's just a cool Challenger number 2. You
Yeah.
don't see it too often.
No.
I mean, see these goblins eating with like greed and fear and hate.
Ugh.
Just kind of cool. I
That's
know,
very-
right?
Look like children.
And this is my favorite pickup, probably of the year. It will be. I'm sure it'll be of the year.
2021.
Yeah, I know it's early, but Fantastic
Ah.
Comics 22.
Oh man.
I've wanted this book. I had put on my list of wants towards the end of last year, and literally within a week's time, someone like contacted me randomly. I didn't even put it out there; I just put it on the universe that I wanted one, and all of a sudden it just came out of nowhere. And then it took me about a month and a half for the guy to come to I don't know the point in his life where he wanted to get rid of it. I mean, I think he fell in love with it, but it really isn't his thing. And so I got first crack at it. It's a really nice book. I got these books from Parallel Universe and from A1 Comics, a couple of these. So
A1's a good
shout out
man.
to them for hooking it up. Parallel Universe on IG. Just excited to get that book. I think it's maybe a 6.0 now. I'm hoping 7.5.
Wow.
That's a ghosty ghost right there.
Maybe, yeah.
You know,
That's
I
I mean,
don't,
I mean, really up close, just so you guys can really see it. I mean, it's Hitler's metal
Bring it up
statue
again so
face,
I can see it.
yeah.
right? And you got them raising the American flag in the background. This girl coming into the mouth of a burner. You know, he's smashing through Hitler's head. And then you got, Nazi soldiers there. So
How many are even on the census for that book? Do you have any idea? Like how many? It's like I don't know that I've ever seen that one either.
I'll have to check the census.
I have
didn't
the census right
see it,
here.
but I can't imagine it's more than like 6.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, in that ballpark.
And that's
Yeah,
23,
that's one,
right?
Jeff, you remember you and me? There was
22.
one today about a year ago or something.
Yeah.
You and me looked at, and that was the only one I had seen ever. Was that one that we talked about?
Yeah,
Right. It's issue 22.
You hanging on to that one? Going into the PC?
Oh, yeah, that's as PC as it gets, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every once in a while you get a piece. And this is Fox Publications, and I'm just a huge advocate for Fox. Have been for like several years plus at least. I always write about on the price guide. I sing its praises. I mean, I don't know how you can't love Fox Publications. They have every single genre you want, and it's done well, and the art's good, and you don't generally have to pay timely prices, but you might have to now. Things are getting really expensive with Fox.
Yeah.
There are a total of 10
okay.
Universal.
Cool.
Currently, the highest grade is a 9.4, followed by a 6.5, a 6.0, 3 5.0s, 2 4.5s, 1 3.0, and then a 0.5. There is one restored 2 or 1.8.
Mhm.
So God help you on that one. But there you go.
Yeah.
Fox features 1941, and I don't have much of the details other than Hitler cover, but
Yeah, I mean, there isn't really much to say about who the artist is and interiors. It isn't anyone really that
well
you know.
known.
well known. It's just one of those cool covers that came out of the Golden Age that, when you see it, you're like, oh, yeah, that's everything the Golden Age needs to be and should be. Just, screams it.
That's awesome, man. Congrats on that.
Yeah, thanks,
real
man.
hard to
Super
do.
excited.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
When anybody gets something for their PC in this book, that means a lot. Oh, I didn't show one more thing, but I'll show that at the end. It's one of those moments that, especially for like when we know how hard it is to get that book and the pride we have that you have completed your journey.
Boy.
Take a break. Lewis, speaking of Fox publication, what do you got going on? What'd you get this week? I know you got 2 books in the last 2 days. So
Yeah, I picked up a few books. Following that, basically I feel like walking off to the stage after Chris Hemsworth or something walked by, and I got to go through. So, the books I've picked up are a little bit more like I just kind of like to display them versus, more upper grade. But so one, a little on the ugly side, but I still like the book. It's a Jackpot.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I love an MLJ.
beautiful MLJ. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always kind of liked the cover. I think those MLJ jackpots, they're kind of hit and miss to me. They've got some really cool covers and some that are but this one I always liked.
Very cool.
And then I'll get to my Foxes here in a second. This one here, for whatever reason, I always like the cover. I like Matt Fox. It does some pulp work, whatever it is. So, but ECH. Yeah.
Cool.
What's that? Chilling Tales 13?
Yep. Ooh, that's got a lot of glare going right there. Yep.
That's okay. Looks good. Nice.
And then for the Foxes, some of them are a little bit rough around the edges, but I like them. What the hell? So, I've got a Wonder World. And so this one here I always thought was creepy. Like, you always got something creepy going on. So you got like 2 guys, sending some gal over the fire. Why not? It's Golden Age.
Yeah, I love the flame.
And then the last one here is, so this book here has some definite like the rice paper, a little bit restoration on the corner, but just for the cover, I just kind of wanted the book. So
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
This one, I think you got a great deal on this book.
yeah, so
Very
yeah,
good.
it's definitely. I mean, it's intact. All the pages are there. Nothing seems to be loose. Nothing, nothing like that. It's just definitely, it's just got some spots that you still have to love her. So
It's a great book.
you take all the flaws and you still love the book. But so this one here, I was kind of happy to pick up. Again, as he said, all these Fox books seems like the price just goes up every time. I think they've got a price that's fair. I'm wrong.
I'm hopefully picking up a Fox book this week. I'm probably going to go tomorrow in the afternoon.
Awesome books, by the way. That MLJ and that Fox is awesome.
Yeah, I think that MLJ isn't the guy holding up to the girl something that's accusing her of being a spy or something.
Yeah.
Spy.
Show it up. Let's highlight
really cool touch on that.
Yeah, basically here it says like United States Secret Service agent. So basically he's like I think it says Jane Dixon. So if I could get it close enough.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
And clearly these covers aren't PC today on how they displayed different folk.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool touch that they have that little note on there. He's like questioning her, and I guess he's taking her paperwork or something.
I think he went through her purse and found out identifications. He's like,
right.
Hey,
Yeah. Definitely her purse is like right there. Yeah.
That's her
So
license.
it's like, for me, when I see that cover, she's, red dress, distressed, but she obviously has been in the game. Do you know what I mean? So you almost feel a little less sorry for her. She's like, do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's
like
a cool
when Black Widow gets beat up, everybody's like, when Black Widow gets beat up, like she's killed enough. Our local historian, Anthony Perdue, comes through again. Alex Blum is the cover artist for Fantastic 22.
Nice.
Excellent. Now, DS, you had a mail call, and you're just waiting on another, so let's get it going.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've got 2 to show, and I feel like, what's the point after seeing those 2 guys' books? Those are freaking incredible books those guys got. So, I've got this lowly Silver Age Surfer 4 and an 8.5. So,
yeah. Hey, don't you knock the holies to holies right there, man.
Yeah, so it just, I don't know. I just saw it. I've worked a deal out with the seller, and it's a really nice copy. It's squared up good. It doesn't have any major damage. It's got just some color breaks on the bottom corner here that's holding it down, but otherwise a really sharp looking copy. So I already have a 9.2, but I don't know. I think it's a good book.
It's getting addicted.
Yeah, I like the cover.
Soon you'll have a display like me where an entire half of your wall is just Silver Surfer 4.
And then here's my sole Comic Link win for this Comic Link auction. So I literally just won it like yesterday or day before. I can't remember. I think it's badass, and it's a Russ Heath war cover, and I feel like I just put a low bid in, and I won it. I figured
it's got to be Battle.
Nice.
Oh, the Rain cover. That's Korean War. Yep.
Yeah, and it's a 5.0 white pager.
Wow.
Yeah, I won this for under $100. I feel like that's a steal for a Russ Heath. Yeah. It's a cool book. I don't know.
Slabbing alone is like $20.
Yeah, so $92 was my bid. I know there's better war books in that auction and better Golden Age, and maybe that's why, or maybe it's just war books are hit and miss, man. That market is all over the place. I thought this could go for $250 or $75. How do you even predict these things anymore? But $92, I'm not going to pass up a 5.0 white pager for $92. And cool Russ Heath. So,
I wanted, before I switch over to Nice, I just want to show one thing here I forgot to show because I got it. I got it last week, but I got it after. I didn't open it till after here. This is a great job by a great friend of mine who put this out. We talked about it. This is a dual signed, 3 signed by the artist who did the cover with the choking Vader. The power of the Doctor. You've got autographs of David Prowse and of James Earl Jones. And I will do a Darth Vader impersonation. If you only knew the power of the dark side. There you go. Okay. Now we've got the great Knights of old. What did we get? What'd you get in? Let's see something from other. Anything from the Orient for us?
I haven't got any. Did I get any no Golden Age, but I have been looking at a lot of things. But I'm still comics prices went so crazy that I started to veer off into other pop culture kind of things. But I did get a few of those.
You kind of look like you're being buried by collectibles right now. There's still waste in there, man.
Spinner rack is literally behind you.
Yeah.
I like to, get that feeling of being a kid in the toy store, so. It's
I was just
working.
gonna say, when I watch the show, I always picture you always look like you're standing in front of your own personal toy store.
Mission
It looks
accomplished.
cool. It looks cool. It's just from here, it's like just like you're, an adult in your own toy store.
Perfect. Well, I got another toy. So here's a metal.
The G-Force plane, right?
Yeah.
Battle of the Planets.
Called Gotcha Man, Science
Huh?
Ninja Team Gotcha Man in Japan, but in
Nice.
America it's called G-Force or Battle of the Planets,
Battle of the Planets,
something
yeah.
like that. But this is a pretty tough toy to, and it's pretty neat. It's got a little, but yeah, it's in bad condition, so I got it kind of cheap. But the stickers on it are pretty good, and it's from like 1974, 4, something like that. And then I got a couple.
Where do you pick stuff up like that? Do you just like eBay, or where do you? Is there a specific place you go?
Japan. That one's from Japan.
But I mean, like, where do you go? Like online? Like, is there a special place?
Well, there's been, it's kind of pricey, but there's a new service. Well, it's not that new, but they've really expanded by accepting PayPal and all this stuff. There's this site called Buy.
Okay.
And they will let you like do shop in a lot of places in Japan. So if you can,
Okay.
if you're like good with the language, because you got to search in Japanese.
Okay.
So, which, isn't that hard, but you can find a lot of stuff. But shipping has gone through the roof in the past, 5 months or so. I don't know what's happening, but
Guys.
getting more and more expensive. And the dollar has dropped. Earlier last year, around this time last year, I was getting, more money to my dollar. But anyway, it's great to find real rare stuff because you're dealing with Japanese version of Craigslist.
Yeah, I just kind of wonder if there's a particular.
I'll
hunt
give you more info later.
Cool.
And I got some American pop culture stuff. This book, pretty nice condition of this book. I don't know if you remember this. It's like a choose your own adventure book.
Yep.
D&D.
Yeah. When you walk back from the Scholastic Book Fair with $5 in that,
Oh,
you were
yeah.
happy.
And this was cool. One of the first modules, and it's the first printing. You can tell
I had that. That's 1978. Yep.
got that lizard. on there.
Yep. I had that book. I had
Very tough to get.
I had the whole run of that, and I wasn't a Dungeon fan. The guy who traded for me for every Tony Perez card I had wanted. I was like, I'll take those cool looking dungeon books, which I then turned into comics from another guy. I've always been wheeling and dealing, whether I was 5 years old or
Yeah, me too.
5 years old. So
Yeah, cool stuff.
excellent.
And then I want to see that Boba Fett cover again.
Okay, all right. So let's show this one here.
But do a breakup of.
Do you want me to
we
bring
see
up?
both of us? Yeah,
You want
I
my?
want to see that.
I'm not breaking. My Tales of Suspense is up there. So.
It's better than the TOS 39, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I don't like TOS 39. That one's better right there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was. Funny thing is, I traded away just to get everyone to know. I got this. I got this. So if you're into Star Wars, you're gonna get bombarded right now. You got these two. You got where's the other ones? You got all these sorts of fuck books. I got a bunch of Star Wars, and I got a Star Wars 1, and I traded him a particular book that was worth $350. And then I took another Star Wars 1, so now I had 2 at the same con. I brought one with me. Lewis knows how I do this. I don't go to the con with cash. I go just with a knapsack full of books. And I always make deals around, and you've seen me deal everything from Matt Baker covers to weird things like the Inferior 5 or I need a complete run. There you go. That's the deal. Yeah, let's put we'll put it. It's kind of hard
just to show that.
Yeah, I could do that. Give these guys 1 second here so we can show it together. Choose.
Yes. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, really cool. That's
Yeah,
the thumbnail.
well.
Get my face out of it. That's the thumbnail. There you go. Good stuff. Let's bring everybody back in. So, yeah, I when I go to these cons, and one of the things I do preach to everybody is trading. Like, so I traded away one book. The value guy gave me $350 value. He gave me this, a Star Wars one, in probably about a 7.5 or higher, as well as this Boba Fett, which is a rare wizard you had to send off to. I did send off to it, but I never got it. So I'm very happy that I finally found it. And that's the only reason that happened. The other books I got, well, here's the Star Wars. I got the last issue. And here's the Star Wars one. You can see this is in absolutely gorgeous condition. And then I took the last one I picked up was another Star Wars one. This one, not a Star Wars one, a Bounty Hunters. This one, this variant, whatever. Not much worth a lot, but all these Star Wars books were for one book, a copy of this, and then I traded a 6.0 Star Wars slab for this and a Gwen Stacy first appearance. And then I took the Showcase 55, traded in for these 3 Kirby's and a Planet of the Apes magazine that I was looking for, number 13, just because it's a gorgeous, not the Planet of the Apes story. It is an ape story, but not the one that you're following in the sequence. But Mike Plug did the art in there, and I'm going over there because I've got my eye on some Plug art, and I think it's from that book. So I've been dealing with the guy, trying to get him to send better pictures, because of his description isn't very good. He's an older guy who has some Mike Plug art. So, but here's the Inferior 5. There you go. I'm always going to,
Hey, you ever have this happen to you? This happened to me a couple months ago. There was like this auction, and the pictures were horrendous, right? And I'm like, I think that's what I want, but I don't know. I got to make sure. And then I'm like talking with this guy, and his communication is not very great. And then he finally puts up some more pictures, but it was like late at night. And then when he put up the pictures, bam, someone nabbed the thing. And I was like, oh my God, that's because I told him to put the pictures up.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just like private me the pictures? God,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, it was like I made an offer to somebody on a book, and they didn't have it set for offers. And you can in eBay you can reply with offer to a message.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they didn't know how to do that, so they apparently lowered the price down to what I asked. And then they sent me a message. They're like, "Yeah, so go ahead and buy it. I just lowered the price, so you can go buy it now." So I go to buy it, and it's sold.
Yep. Happened to me.
Yeah.
I always tell them, I'm like, make it best offer, but put a giant price on it.
Yeah.
Like put $10,000 or something.
Like scare
for best
people away.
offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's there was one the other day. Power Comics 3 popped up on eBay, and it was a My Comic Shop.
Nice.
And they had it listed at, it was like 16. It was a 3.5 or something.
Mm-hmm.
They had it at 1,600 on eBay. I went to My Comic Shop. I wasn't going to buy it, but I went to My Comic Shop. They had it for like $14.75, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, that's not going to last very long. Gone instantly off of My Comic Shop. It went quick. But yeah, you got to be on top of that stuff. You can't mess around. Like if I wanted to buy that, I probably would have bought it directly off of eBay instead of even wasting the time to go to My Comic Shop. But somebody got to My Comic Shop fast enough and got it. But you got to be quick on that stuff. You don't have time. Sometimes you don't have time to look stuff up or send messages and hope that they know how to do it. You just got to be ready on a quick trigger sometimes.
I got hit with that from a Canadian seller on a Tales of Suspense 3 and a 7.5. I said, I'm willing to give you $800 right now, but not $1,200. And I said, I'll pay $800. He goes, okay, I'll make offer. And he made the buy it now price $800. I woke up the next morning, it was gone because I responded to his email. And I'm like, how many? You got to be shitting me. And I found out I saw that same book sitting on Harley Yee's shelf the next month. And it was Harley Yee, and I told him he wanted $1,200 for it. I'm like, Harley, what'd you do that for? He goes, I didn't do it. Somebody else just traded me for it. I thought it was a good deal. So
I got to tell you, you showed this.
Yes, I love that book.
You got to get the this is the other part of that story.
I have that book. I literally have that book in about a 4.0.
This is like the most epic two-parter you could ever think of.
Right. That's what I tell people. I've read the trades, but these are the first.
Origin of Miracle Man.
Right. Yep. It's the first time I've ever owned these floppies. Now I've had the trades since probably the late 90s, early 2000s, probably. Not the Forever People one, which I do consider the first appearance of Darkseid, and I do not agree with that Jimmy Olsen thing. I am one of those people that don't believe that a television screen that's not there. I think that's cute, but this is the real better book to have. First of all, cool story, and Jimmy Olsen, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, isn't really that good of a book in any way.
First appearance of the Whiz Wagon, right?
Right, exactly.
To speak to your pricing, I just think anymore with the way prices are, if there's a fair price out there that you think versus trying to haggle over $50 or something, your best just pull the trigger. I mean, because it's bit me too, where you think, well, it's a fair price, but maybe I'll see if he'll take a little lower. And then by the time you do that, it's gone. If you see something, if it's fair, you just got to move on it.
Yeah. And I always tell people that the biggest regrets for me aren't the ones that I buy, the ones that I don't buy.
Absolutely.
Those always hurt more. And I just feel like you missed out, and you usually do.
Yeah, I told John several years ago the story when I was younger. I was at a Comic-Con in Dallas where there was original Bernie Wrightson art from Swamp Thing 1. It was an original page. It wasn't the cover, but it was original artwork from Swamp Thing 1 for Bernie Wrightson. And at the time, they had wanted like $1,200. And I remember sitting there thinking, oh, man, that's a lot. I could have done it. I'm like, I went back later the next day. Page was gone. And I kicked myself a few times since then. So,
I kick it too.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what the value of the page would be, but still, it's so to your point. I remember not buying that a lot more than all the other books I bought, probably.
Yeah,
start debating at $20,000 on that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I got one more thing to show.
All right, what do you got?
Yeah, these are some very cool old dice.
Nice. You got a 20 in there?
There's the white one. But these, if you ever see these, pick them up if they're cheap, because they go for a lot. Especially if you can find a real super pink.
What's did somebody particular manufacture or make them?
Yeah, there's a whole history, and there's some good websites, and I think there's a couple videos on this too. But it's like from 1970. Oh God. Probably 75 or
75 would be probably when they started manufacturing the dice.
Yeah, and then they had all these different people making them, and TSR kind of stole the show, and but the old ones are very sought after. Like I was trying to, and they're fun to identify. Like there's websites that break it down and show like unfold maps of where all the numbers are and stuff, and there's people who are super. Like I've got that in like a lot, but like if you can like there's fanatics, who will pay for a lot.
Do you have to have it in a tube like that, or is it just? Did you put them in a tube?
I just put it in a tube. Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, that's good job.
Looks like something my kids will lay around. I'd step on.
Oh yeah, and you don't want to step on these. These. Triangle.
Yeah.
No, I have enough magnetic blocks that I step on them religiously around here.
Nothing's better.
Legos, worse than Legos. So the topic tonight was we're going to talk about Fox publication, and we have some great experts on here for that, and that's one of the good things I want to do. I happen to collect Zigra, Rula, and those are my favorite two. The Jungle ones. I have a Zigra 2 coming, complete the run finally. They're correct when we say that they're up in value. I used to spend $40 to $50 on a Fox book, maybe about a couple of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I now start at any mid-grade under 300 of any Fox book is reasonable at this point. I think my favorite artist of the Fox era, obviously, if we go back to the original ones, it's going to be Lou Fine. But of the books that I particularly collect, the Joe Doolin artwork is, and Matt Baker. I mean, those are the two. I compare the two right there that I have in my era or my wheelhouse with the Jungle books, not just the Elephants, but the Jungle books in general. I want to know if you guys think that the increase in Fox as a whole is derived from the original 3 Wonderworld comics, Fantastic Comics, and I think Amazing Man would be the other one I would throw in. Well,
Mystery Men's pretty early, so
Mystery Men, maybe. Yeah, I mean, like, do you think that those 3, their values skyrocketing so much, have driven the rest of the publications up, or do you think it's just been as a whole golden age, and now people have just discovered the Fox?
I think they put the number ones like Science, or actually I get them mixed up which is which, but like some of the other number ones, I'm sure they drove those up, but a lot of the like other stuff, I mean, it's hard enough for me to keep track of what's Fox and not. But I feel like just people are getting priced out all over the place, and there's so much cool stuff in the golden age that, you know, it's not that hard to like just look in another box or flip another page in your Gerber guide, and you're finding other cool stuff to get, and then you're competing with them.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to think on, I mean, it's just my opinion, but on some of the Fox that I think some of them just aren't as plentiful either to find. And I think, I don't know, maybe you do have just people running up some of those particular books a little bit. Me personally, I think if you're out there looking at comics, I think just for me that the Fox books, I'd heard once that they spent more, they did more on the covers than a lot of the other Golden Age books. Like they put a lot of work into some of those covers. And some
we had Will Eisner himself most attributed with Fox.
Yeah, I mean,
before he went to Fiction House, that's where he was. So
I think there's a falling out with Eisner and Iger after Wonder Man, probably, because then he decided, from what I understand, Victor Fox decided to bring his own artist in-house because of that whole rift between him, basically telling the courts, yes, I was told to copy Superman,
right?
You know, with Wonder Man, and but then he's got to be one of the reasons we see some of these artists. I mean, we see Lou Fine early, George Tuska early. I mean, Jack Kirby and Simon were there. I mean, we see some of the best in the history of this of the comics coming out of Fox Publications. So that itself, I think, helps expose the collectible, or just the interest in it. And obviously, because Golden Age is just going up, period, that when you start seeing more Matt Baker comics selling for 5-figure numbers, it starts being like, oh, wow, this is actually something to Fox, more than just, you know, some bastard publication in comparison to DC and Timely. And I think it's getting its due, long overdue. And it's just, there's so much to like about it. Like, I mean, the covers really are, even if it's not a good artist, there's still something to them.
For comics, the covers sell, and Fox has some of the best comics covers ever produced. I mean,
I absolutely agree.
And yeah, people buy covers.
Yeah, and they're no name heroes. You don't really know them. They're not anybody. Yet they're still appealing and attractive to a collector, you know, an enthusiast, because of just the imagery itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a whole history there. It wasn't their biggest asset when Fox went out was Blue Beetle, right? And eventually it was kind of sold off a little bit to the Charleston, I believe. You know, so I mean, but other than Blue Beetle, yeah, I don't know that they really had any characters that anybody would truly know, really.
I think they're public domain now.
Blue Beetle?
No, Blue Beetle is not, because DC did a rerun of it, but the one that is, I believe, missed some of the comics characters that are in the Fox publication are public domain. Okay. Again, the rules of public domain are, I have an attorney looking at one particular comic character. It is the Green Llama. I want to bring him back. I do think that's about time we got him back. But there are sometimes I have inquired with attorneys about public domain characters, and while some are under Fox publication, that has nothing to do with 20th Century Fox anymore. It has nothing to do with that. It's a totally separate publication, swallowed up by Charleston eventually, and when it was sold. But I am looking into that. Again, when you're talking Fox publication, there are two eras of it, really. It's 37 to 45, kind of like what we talk about, and then the Atomic Age ones. The Atomic Age ones have your later on artists, your Matt Bakers, Joe Doolins, and some Jack Kamen in there, and the guys that eventually worked at Fiction House. The early ones, like Jeff said, are the who's who of comics. Eisner, the Eisner Awards, Lou Fine, we all know and love, Jack Kirby and Joe Simon right there, the true heart and soul of timely comics, with Schoenberg. No offense, Schoenberg fans, with Stan, but I'm saying the true heart and soul. And so I kind of think you guys are hitting the nail on the head that it could just be they're getting their due. I mean, they're getting their due as a publication that probably has the best stable of talent at the time that eventually became the biggest run there was.
Here's a question. You take out Fantastic 3, or maybe throw it in there. What's the best cover for of all their series? Really,
isn't it that people love that Wonderworld 7 quite a bit?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. I have a print right outside my door. It's the print was much cheaper. So
this book right here.
That's it.
This is Wonderworld 7. This is way up there.
So yeah,
if you share my screen, I have some Fox kind of and a chronological. If you want to take a quick look at the first, 20 books or something.
Yeah, Weird and Science Comics had some great beginning issues too.
Comics is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I tried a bid on a Science 4 not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, is this indeed the first one?
I think it is.
I think it might be. Yeah, it might be their first issue.
Yeah,
Fox Comics #1.
Yeah,
It's a good first issue.
First and last for them.
they had a 1.0 Wonder Comics that was it was on a Heritage, I think it was.
Just recently, right?
Yeah, just this past month.
Went cheaper than I thought it would go. Is this any good? Oh, Lou Fine. That's pretty cool.
I thought this is supposed to be Lou Fine's first cover or someone's first cover art. First art.
Yeah, that could be first.
From what I understand, but
and we got so it changed into the Flame pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I never thought that was a Lou Fine.
Which one?
Wonderworld 3.
Oh yeah. Classic.
Oh yeah, Mr. N1.
Yep. You see that one off and on, but
I love this one.
mm-hmm.
That one's great. Wow, he did
that one's great up when you expand the picture even bigger. I mean, you really get into that image. It's a really cool picture, cool cover.
Lou Fine. Wow, so he did tons of their covers.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah, that one's great.
That's one of the earliest robot covers. It's got the robots on the lower right.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Which just to let you know, DS, you own a Smash, don't you?
A Smash?
Smash 3?
I have Smash 3 and Smash 5. Those are quality publications, but yeah.
That's the first robot cover comic?
No, Smash 1 is the first robot.
Smash 1 is, okay. The first robot ever drawn in a pop culture magazine was a pulp. Done the first 1939 January. The second is the Smash. The third is the Fantastic 3.
Yeah, the Wonderworld comics. I hope to add that to.
This is my favorite one so far.
Yeah, that's up there.
It's cool.
Pricey.
I think there also is maybe a 3.0 or 3.5 that's coming up for auction at Heritage as well.
That one's good.
Yeah.
That one seems to be out there a little bit, along with this one.
Yeah, that one's. Yeah, you do see that one.
Yeah.
And this one I really like too.
I don't see this very much. I don't feel.
I like that one too. Not as much as the 7 though.
Yeah. And this is all still 1939. That's pretty awesome. Very early.
I mean, they're not even major characters, but you can appreciate these covers, and you're like, dang.
I think he's done every. Oh no, here's a George Tuska. Although it's kind of fine style in my.
It seems like Fine, Tuska, and Simon did most all the covers for these early Foxes, but there's a lot of Fine.
Yeah.
That's right when the war happened in Europe. Oh, here you go. Wow, only 3 books a month. Did Fox make did they do pulps and other things like?
Not.
I think he just started the publication, Victor Fox. I don't know if he came out of a magazines before or pulps before, like some others did.
I love this one.
I'll find that out right
I
now.
like the two better
Yeah,
than those are.
Can I tell you, guys, the story? I don't know if it was Science 1 or Science 2, but there was someone who was selling original art at a con, or someone who bought one at a con, but was showing Joe Simon that cover. And then he's like, I'm sorry to tell you, but that's not real. And the guy was like, what? And this is funny because it goes right with your counterfeit kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes. But he's like, what? And he was showing Joe Simon. And then he's like, what do you mean it's not real? Like, and he goes, well, because the real one is sitting in my living room on the wall that I got from Lou. And apparently he like took him to his house, and and it happened to be a kind of well-known forger artist who did do some comic art forgeries for a bit. But I thought of that because I was watching DS's video about the controversial Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle counterfeit.
Yeah, I didn't think it was controversial at all over the last several years. This was a thing.
We have a
That one I
Anthony-
like about too.
we have a Anthony Perdue, Wally Wood during his assisting stint with George Wonder on Terry and the Pirates, done some Fox-like Martin Kane, Private Eye, and Pedro, a humor book.
I like that one.
Yeah, I like this one a lot too. I'm not sure what the hell's happening.
We don't just talk about Wallace Wood's smut here. We talk about his entire repertoire. By the way, Lewis is a proud owner of Gangbang 3.
Yeah, I had to pick that just a Wally. It was just one of those esoteric books. I thought,
We're getting that graded.
So tell me when you want me to stop. But
Keep going. I mean, we're just showing. We're doing
that's a
Fox.
cool
So.
Joe Simon.
I feel like when you get to like 1941 range, I'm about done with it. Like end of 40.
So this is before Simon went to Timely. Still, so that's still pretty early.
So, I mean, you could look at all these books, and maybe there's some that you don't think are fantastic or whatever, but you have be hard pressed to find a bad one. I mean, my opinion, right? I mean, all
Yeah.
pretty.
Oh, that one's cool.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And they have a really cool quality about them that just
Yeah.
dates them to the very start of the golden age, and where like pulp is just morphing into comics.
Mhm.
And I love that. I love that kind of rawness to that.
It feels like they kind of lost some of that early identity and that flair, like in the middle of these runs.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
feel like you kind of lost a lot of it, and then it started to maybe come back towards the end of some of these runs.
Mhm.
Yep.
But and then Phantom Lady came on scene with
Yeah.
Baker.
Baker started doing, and then you had the whole Rula, Zigra.
These are starting to lose me a little now. But look,
Yeah.
if I was out and about and found one of these antique shop, I would be stoked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're just talking about all the Fox, so they're starting to lose me at this point. They're starting to fail off.
Here's one you got, right?
Well, I did. I sold it for a possibly too low of a price.
Did you-
Went to a good collector, and I sold it. It was I just saw it, and I couldn't leave it sitting where it was. I had to bring it home.
We'll be when we do our 100th episode, we'll be bringing on a guy, and we'll be previewing some pulps and some pulps related to Fox publication as well.
I mean, I see it's losing me, but I also see that there's no more Lou Fine and no more Joe Simon. So
Simon went to Timely.
Yeah,
Fine.
Tesco here, George. Rex Dexter.
Fine. What? Fine. I think during this time,
I think he.
I have it right here. I read the little thing on him. I'm gonna read it up here.
Yeah, none of these would make it on my want list at this point.
I think on some of these, like Mystery Men or whatever, and maybe
It's
one,
still hard to
they
find.
start off high, and then at the back end, as you guys are saying, at the back end, like you've got some of the comics at the end of the run are actually fairly tough to find.
Well,
Like,
even
yes.
these, like I feel like I don't see these often.
Mhm. Yeah, when you get to the latter half of the runs when they're ending, it's like,
That one's pretty good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and then you got Lou Fine going over to Quality, right? Doing more like
So he
comics.
started working
and-
with Will Eisner directly and doing the Spirit. Remember, he did a lot of the interiors of Spirit, which I have volumes 1 through 4 now. I have all from 39 through 1943 now collected, which is great interior work, but a lot of Lou Fine in there. And Jack Kirby was always quoted as saying Lou Fine is his favorite artist ever. And Will Eisner said he was the truest, most honest draftsman of anybody around. And
Yeah, none of these look great.
No.
What? When did he leave? So is this
Lou was doing a lot of well, when he went to do Spirit, that was
what was his last one?
like 40, like in 40 by 41 he was doing Spirit. So
because he started working on National and Hit Comics as well.
It looks like in 40 he's not there. Like mid 40s. Trying to find at least one. Oh, this is a fun.
Fiction
Here we
House,
go.
Fox Feature Syndicate. And then
So let's see.
Another thing with Lou Fine too is unfortunately the gentleman passed away fairly young. He was maybe 50-ish, right? He was
he was born in 1914 and died in 71.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Yeah.
He went right into Quality.
Yep.
It's like the month after his last book on Fox. One right there.
Yeah, the quality stuff is good. I mean, anything by Lou Fine has got a really distinctive quality. It's just the thin, intricate pen lines and the way he draws figures and especially clothing. He has a lot of times he draws like looser clothing, and I think he almost does that on purpose so that he can add the texture and the flowing of the costume, flag, stuff like that.
Right, and he died at the age of 56.
Yeah.
So
They got an upgrade with him coming aboard because I mean they have this a very different style, and then all of a sudden, bam.
well, National and Quality and National Quality, whatever you want to call them, these were just very cool books. I mean,
Oh
yeah.
You'll
Reed
find-
Crandall did some great work too.
Right, I was going to bring up the Reed Crandall connection with him.
Reed Crandall, when you look at like these nationals, or even some of the hits, if you don't specifically know, it's hard to tell if you just look quick at it, just give a glance to it, whether it's a Fine or a Crandall. They're so similar early on in these quality titles. It's really hard to tell unless you really look at it closely or research it.
Well,
Yeah,
Lou Fine was one of the first Fiction House artists with Jack Kirby's first work, and immediately asked Jack to join him wherever he went. And Jack had him as like they weren't that far apart in age, but Jack almost like apprenticed with him, and that's the influence you can see.
I bet this is what happened. So here we go. So this was his first for Quality. He probably drew this while he was at the other company, and then they're like, all right, yeah, okay, we'll hire you. And then, there was a bit of time where he didn't do anything and then he started like his regular, now he's like every month he's doing something for them.
Here's a question. So if it's like a stock, those smash and crack comics, do you think that's they never have seemed like they've taken off like some of the other publications have, but does anybody think out there that they could at some point? It seems like they're certainly of the golden age books. They as a whole don't have as high of a value. So here would be the question would be, could they at some point, like, I don't know, Guru, you probably,
Guru.
like, do you ever see those books taking off? Because it seems like they're almost undervalued in a way.
I mean, they're old, but they're kind of cartoony, hokey in the beginning there with that robot cover. And I don't know, for me, deep down in my gut, I think there's going to be a lot of other comics that would go up before that. Wouldn't ever really see a true substantial increase. I mean, without obviously certain issues in between here and there, you get the clock there and whatever. I think Feature Comics offers actually quite a lot in them. They got good artwork. You got Torchy stories.
Oh, okay.
That's a great hit comics. Go back to that one. That's,
Oh, I love this national one.
I think there's a lot of value in quality though. Like if you want to get into a golden age like early, like get Police Comics and Plastic
Yeah,
Man and that type of
yeah.
stuff for reasonable, that's a good place to go. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a handful of qualities. I have no Foxes. Foxes are just through the roof on price, and then the qualities you can pick up affordably, like really early ones. I don't know. I mean, even like the big national comics, like that one we just saw, were like 16. Yeah, they're pricey, but they're like half the price of Fox books. And I think they're, as good, sort of. I mean, I think that National 16 is awesome.
You said Fox picked up again.
it's JoJo.
When
Yeah,
does
Jojo and Rula and Phantom Lady.
Yeah, when
Late
he
40s.
made the good girl art of what Fox was known for after
47, 48, I would
the
go.
war was all good girl art. I mean, most of their stuff was the hokey stuff,
so
but they did a lot of good girl art with JoJo number 7. From 7, there were actually 2 covers of 7
Oh,
all
here's
the way on up. Zoot is another one. That's Rula. Zoot.
early one.
And you have to know the difference between Rula and All the Girls is the bathing suit.
So that must have been the start of it right there, because here's the last Zoot.
Yeah.
And
Zoot
then,
is only a few Zoots.
boom, into the girls. That probably sold really well.
Yeah, and then I think you also got to credit.
JoJo with the girls strapped to the back of an elephant with Metal Gear on it.
Yeah, you got to give Baker and Kamen their dues for this part of the.
And
time frame.
Doolin and Joe Doolin. I always say, don't forget Joe Doolin with this,
And Joe Doolin.
There we go.
because he's did a lot of the Phantom Lady as well. It wasn't just a Baker book.
So if we were to think of comics as the stock market, like what comic out there would you say is like, I'm going to buy it because I think it's got like, here's a publisher, or here's a publisher of comics that's just, hasn't yet been tapped by the market. Which one do you think that might be?
I still think Fiction House is underrated.
You have to be on our Patreon group to figure that one out. Just kidding.
Yeah. Fiction House is like golden age, sort of like blue chip, steady gainers. It's like they pay a dividend,
Right.
know? And the thing about Fiction House, the paper quality is really good. There's a lot of copies out there and a lot of really high quality copies. And I'm not saying they all have to be in the 9s, but even like there's a lot of good looking mid-grade copies that are really structurally just nice. And there's just so many copies. It's tough. It's like EC books. EC is like the Cadillac of PCH, but there's so many nice copies out there that it holds it down a little. So you just get a slow, but there's hardly any risk to buying those. You buy a Fiction House, you're never going to lose money on Fiction House. You just will have to wait, and it's a steady gainer.
Yeah, I think Fiction House becomes very picky on specific titles. For genres, I think for me, lately, I feel like teen humor has been down, so it might be a good time to get into teen humor covers. And then romance, I still think has a long way to go.
I was going to say romance, the diary secrets, the love story. Your artists and those. You have to remember that a lot of your best artists of the 60s started doing or worked a lot of the romance books, including not just Baker, but you've got Jack Kirby and Simon did a ton of romance. John Buscema did a lot of stories.
They did the first one.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things you have to look at with the romance books, like the Western books. I still think are undervalued. I think they're more of a novelty, but I think the Western books have a lot more room to grow. And I don't think we've even seen the top of the war books yet.
I'll throw a statement out there right now. I think Atomic Age keys are still way undervalued. You can pretty much put your money in any Atomic Age key for a genre, and I think you'll see significant growth continually through the years, and probably a safe place to put it. I mean, you start going to early gold. I mean, you only have so many publishers in the early golden age to really pick from. I mean,
that's true. So, you can always go to our OnlyFans site.
Like Atom Age keys,
we really do.
So is this really Jack Kamen or Baker?
I don't think it's Matt Baker. I've argued with everybody that that's not Baker hairstyle. It's more likely a Joe Doolin.
Than they hear Jack Kamen.
Or it could be Jack Kamen. Yeah. I mean, that's again the credits on it. We don't know. at that point. But one of those things I will say is for sure that it isn't Baker. I know people have said that they're all Baker. They're not.
Seems like the Matt Baker stuff's kind of peaked a little bit, maybe.
No,
In mid grades and lower, it has plummeted.
It's
Yeah.
In my
plummeted.
mind.
I mean, it's got peaked in some stuff and just kind of It's,
Baker needs
From
his
2 years
pick.
ago, it's dropped big time.
Yeah.
Baker original artwork started showing up more and more.
Yeah.
So
He
when
just
you see
he did
artwork
some-
show up, that means something.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've seen enough.
Oh yeah, so Jeff, you were saying Adam H. Keys. Like, what's an example you're talking for? Like that
Atomic Age case, I would say like Underworld Crime 7.
Yeah. Okay.
Fight Against Crime 20. Pick your Matt Baker covers. That one where she's like, when she's like on the corner there as a prostitute. I forget the name of it.
Like police case or something.
No.
I know
it's
what you're
like,
talking about. It's the trollop cover.
Yeah, I
That's
forgot
right.
the
It's one I
name.
call the trollop cover, where she's under the
Key-
street lamp.
Yeah, key Avons, key sci-fi books that
Yeah.
Venus 19.
Like I have a
Yeah.
journey. I have my hands quite often on a journey into Fear number 1. I just can't get the guy to agree to sell it. That's a Baker, and it's a Baker horror. It's the first of the bunch, and it's probably a 4 or 5. He just doesn't want to sell it. I mean, I'm ready when they are, but I think I'm going to go talk to her again. She's got also the first Marilyn Monroe with cigarette burns in it. Again, these were at a cigar shop in the Midwest here. They were literally sitting out in a cigar shop from 1950 to 1952. Everything from the Supermans and everything else to the Roy Rogers to a lot of the Walter Lantz work, a lot of the Del Walter Lantz work, and like the Smokey the Bear. No Chuck Connors special rifleman is in there, but she's got a tub of them that were in her dad's cigar shop, and I talk to her a lot because she still keeps the tradition going by having a head shop now. But she's older, and I've offered to take care of all those. But okay. Reed Crandall, by the way, I love this comment here by Anthony Perdue because I was reading about this on the internet recently because I was looking at some old Reed Crandall artwork. The 1950s Black Hawk serial was introduced as Reed Crandall's Black Hawk, a rare acknowledging of a comic book artist, which is great because he didn't do that work. He is credited for inventing Black Hawk. So I think that's great.
I could be wrong too with Reed Crandall. Didn't he at the end of his life or after he's out of comics, I want to say he was like a janitor. He was in Kansas. I mean, he had an odd end to his. I'm trying to remember. I might have that wrong, but
I have some Reed Crandall information.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, not that it's always fascinating on some of these artists that
A lot of those guys, one of the
maybe
Schuker or one of those other, the Spiegel or Schuker.
like a postman.
Those guys was like a mailman or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just
And he barely had enough money to have rent.
right.
He went to Jim Warren. So if you don't know Jim Warren, Jim Warren only paid you $100 a cover. $125 if you were Jim Steranko once. He paid $114. Reed Crandall was a master cover, and of course, when he arrived at EC in 1953, we know what he did on Doll Man, Hit Comics, and the Police comics.
Yeah.
He later on took a new direction and left comics on his own after horrific situations, and with classic comics, he just filled in there, and he ended up doing Dell's adaptation of the Twilight Zone. And he did some creepy and eerie's that I have. I have some very, very cool Reed Crandall work in a few creepy and eerie Warren magazines I have that I kind of share. But it doesn't get into his background here. But if you want to know what he looked like here, quite a bit like Ed Asner right here, if you ask me.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Reed Crandall. Again, I have volume 2 of this book finally coming. I contacted him again. He said he'll send it to me. So.
I want to say Lou Fine was in a wheelchair or disabled or something. Is that the case?
Well, yeah, you do. The only pictures I've ever seen are him sitting down, kind of. So I don't know. Maybe, I don't.
Maybe he had polio. I don't know.
That's a good question.
Shouldn't be hard to research.
Yeah.
I'd like to see romance photo covers get a little bit more attention too. I mean, they're not art. They're interesting and intriguing. Not like
All American or Miss America number one, the first Marilyn Monroe when she was 17. And I don't think she's Marilyn Monroe. It's actually she's Norma Jean. There are a few All American girl comics that are, the Patsy Walker doing it in the art form was done as photo covers. But very cool. And a lot of them are very suggestive. There's the one of the teen diaries of the girl licking the ice cream cone and the guy just staring at her.
Yeah.
And that one to me is just as good as if not better than the Chuck Connor's log cover, whatever you want to call that one.
Yeah, some of those teenage romance ones, you look at them and you think, holy buckets. I mean, this is supposed to be for teenagers. There's one that I'm trying to remember the publication of the book, but she's sitting in a barn asking if somebody wants to join the teenage sex club or something. And it's like, holy bucket, it's surprising of the stuff that got published a little bit, You're like, you feel a little bit bad just reading it.
And Avon Publishing probably did a lot of those.
I want to hear more about this from this Fox expert though. Like, how long have you been focusing your collection towards Fox? And if so, how long have you been doing that?
Louis?
Yeah, I have to admit, I mean, it's one of the publishers that I go after. I would say for the better part of probably 5 years at least. So somewhat of my background is when I was younger and I was a kid and I'd go to comic cons or whatever, well, the superhero stuff was always the more pricey stuff. And so I'd come in there with money and I'm like, holy buckets, there's these boxes of older comics that are sweet. Like, they got skeletons and people with X's and all kinds of stuff. And you can go through there and it's like $8, $12, And so as I've kind of progressed, I mean, I've got a lot of stuff, a lot of Golden Age, and I've just always found the Fox publications to be, well, for a while I could pick them up, and I thought I'm finding a secret that maybe somebody else isn't onto. Now everybody's onto my secret, It's not a secret, so I can't go to a con and grab a book. Now they're on the rack, the high dollar rack. Before they would be maybe somewhere down below, you could bargain. There's probably several publications. Fiction House, I do like some of their books as well. I was gonna say, I don't know. I think for me, if you put something creepy in it, something a little bit off the wall, then I'm your guy. I'm not a good bargainer.
And what's your are you going after runs or just keys or?
Yeah, I've got a few that I try to do the runs. A couple of them are Foxes, unfortunately. So I'm probably maybe just going to pick up a night shift at Taco Bell to fund that. So I was going to say, unless Gru is going to cut me some deals or
I'd
something.
love to see flip through a box of just the runs of Fox. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah. I've got some runs of horror comics, that I try to collect, So I kind of have a thing where I go for the runs and get some of the other books, and then I really try to, I don't know. It's kind of fun that way.
I was going after runs of timely stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. And then
I feel bad for you. Like if you're trying to do timely runs, that's just I don't know.
Then I was like, oh. Because I was pretty good at finding. I would just buy anything. If I could find timely for $300 or less, I was like, I'm buying it. I don't care if it's a centerfold missing or whatever. I'm just
you're not gonna find it. Yeah.
Or a Captain America for $500 or less. That was a good score, a complete one. And then when that stopped happening, then I started to, I could turn all these little timelies into some big timelies. So I did that, and so I don't really have the run thing going on anymore, but that's okay. Maybe someday they'll go back.
Page.
Yeah,
You don't like runs, you can just pick individual issues and sort of trade up, and you can build. I always say, like, unlike Silver Age Spider-Man collections, which is blue chip era category of books, you can get any Golden Age collector. You can pick what you want, and every single Golden Age collector's collection is unique to them. Now there might be some overlap, but nobody has people have ASM 1 through 100. There's a lot of a fair number of collectors that have 1 through 100 ASM. But if you get any Golden Age collection, it's unique to that collector. And there might be some overlap, but it's always unique to you. And that's one of the things I really love about Golden Age.
One of the other runs, one of the other publishers that I'm a fan of is Ace. I like Ace periodicals quite a bit. I've tried to go after some of like the Lightning comics, which there's only a handful of them. I think that I like the Super Mystery comics. I know there's some other books are okay, but so I'm a big fan of the Ace stuff as well. But I'm not much of a wheeler and dealer. I mean, John, you go to a comic, I think he'll walk in with a skateboard, some bubble gum, and a package of Skittles, and come out with a stack of books. just trading. So I kind of have an angle.
What are the top 10 Fox grails? Or it doesn't have to be exactly 10, but
Well, if you taken out Fantastic Comics #3, which I did bid on that book that went for 20.
Well, I mean, that would be in there as number one, and that's not bad. That's a hell of a lot easier of a mountain to climb than if it was Detective 27.
Oh yeah.
So
I would say of the Fox books, at least as it stands, I mean, by far the Fantastic 3 is the priciest of any of them. I mean, that's, I guess, easy to say. There's several fantastic books. That funny enough, before the show starts, I didn't get a chance to talk to him too much, but DS and I were looking at one that, to me, I would seriously consider. That would be the Mystery Men #30. I think that's a good. Probably to me also the Wonder World Comics #7. It's on my door, so I'm.
Is the 30 the kind of purplish bluish one with the skeleton faces? Or
yeah, it has some kind of creepy people. I mean, it's one of those books you got to look at and figure I don't, what was the artist drinking or smoking? You're trying to figure out what's going on, but
it's second to last issue or last issue. I can't remember.
Maybe it's it might be the last. I think Wonder World. Yeah,
30 or 31. Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Okay. No,
I think there's one 7 on the census too. They're all of them are rare. But even among the rare ones, there's some that are ultra rare. That one is 7 on the census or something. So that's really, really tough.
Yeah, it seems like besides DC superheroes, all the other Golden Age genres, if a book appeals to more than just those niche people who are into it, it ends up being just ridiculous. Like that Flame, that early Flame.
Yeah,
I've been seeing it lately, or just looking at it lately, and I'm just that is every time I look at it, it seems cooler and cooler to me. And it's well, that explains why, and same thing with that whatever, the Misfits color, Chamber of Chills. I always forget the damn number of that
19.
Yeah.
Same thing with that one, or maybe Phantom Lee 17 or something,
Yeah, what stinks now is, like I said, you used to you'd be able to go to a con, right? And my eye would be looking at some of these, these books that we're talking about. And they could kind of play coy, I really wanted them and I was going to buy them, but I could kind of act maybe be interested or not. I'll do you a favor. I'll take them off. That's gone. Can't do that anymore. So it's, I think they're on people's radar now. So, as I said earlier.
For me, cons were this. So if you had any other timelies, would they be on the wall? And they'd be yeah. Or they'd be what's a timely?
Oh yeah.
Or you'd go to a nice one like Jeff's or someone where you'd be do you have any other timelies, or do you have any timelies? And they're no, but check this out. And they'll show me some box, and I'll be like, what is this? And they're like, those are mine, but
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But it's like, goddamn. But it was kind of, I admit, it was pretty fun to like, I don't know, I'm attracted to like the hard to get stuff for some reason. It's annoying, but.
Well, I'm definitely like in the same boat for whatever the reason. The rarer the book, it seems like the more it's attractive, right? It's or the harder to find, the more attractive it is. And it's, you know, because there's certain covers you see all the time, you're like, that's a cool cover, but I've seen it 3 times this past month. And then you see like, you know, a cover, like for example, that Fantastic Comics number 22, right? I mean, might not ever see that one again. Here's a question, like for Guru, like what if you were to list the book?
My fourth copy now.
What do you think that would go for? What would you list that book for?
What I listed for? I feel like I know somebody who would buy from me for probably. This is without pressing, but just as is.
Yeah.
I could probably push it to 15.
Yeah,
that's a good price.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, 7.0 for sure.
No, not at 7.0. 5560. At 7.0, plus I would get over 20. I would think.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have the second highest graded copy of a very rare Hitler cover, a very unique Hitler cover, because it's like a giant Hitler oven with a woman being pushed into the mouth of it where the flames, like, it's insane, dude. You don't ever see, even among Golden Age weird stuff that's off the charts. Like, you never see anything like that.
Right. I will say the copy that is the 9.4 we know is the church copy. So I kind of think if you take the church copies out, like I always do, because they are their own world. We just saw a few churches sell recently. Lewis, I showed you that one church copy a guy bought. We were talking about take that out, Jeff. You probably do have the highest non-church on the census. So
yeah.
And it's a great feeling to have. I mean, I like having all but one on the census of a book of the wanted 49. But if I buy another copy of that, or find another one, I'm paying cheap prices and getting them graded. And I keep seeing them going up. I'm like, all right, I'm going to sell the lowest graded one I have. But then I'm like, but that one's there. And then I'll buy raws just to look at the interior. But
I think, Jeff, that's the only other one besides this, right?
I'm sure there's another.
Is there?
I would say for some reason I feel like there's one we're forgetting, but I could be wrong. Being fed into the oven, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head right this second. I feel like there's another that we're forgetting, but
yeah, and I know that one's that's a bigger book, obviously, but I actually prefer the Fantastic because I'm not into the World War II aspect. That one's much more historically significant. But the off-the-wall, bizarro nature of that Fantastic, it's like they took that concept and just went crazy with it and did a whole different thing of it. But yeah, I think those are the two that come to mind, and I can't think of another one. But the one that Knight has, that's.
I think this is 41. What year is that? Cap. That's probably
that's what I was just about to. I wondered what year yours was. This is 44, I think. Or 40.
Yeah, this has got to be like 41, 42. I can't
45-ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot earlier one.
Yeah, this is early 45.
And your price for 15 on that book might be low, because if we all nod our head like, yeah, that's a good price, then he might even be low.
I don't know. Yeah, it's not going anywhere, man. And I'm only pressing it because it's kind of got this weird spine roll that, like, I feel if I keep it in a box with it, that I would do almost more damage to it than trying to get it to be flat. You know, so otherwise I wouldn't mess with it. But
I was talking to someone recently about Centaur.
Centaurs, wow.
Yeah. And he was
tough.
asking me how I would consider that publisher compared to Fox, compared to everything else. I says Centaurs are harder to find most cases than Chesslers. And I compare the two. I said they're more Chesler and Centaurs I compare because they're never in high grade. And their covers always have something. I always look at that eye cover of that centaur, the one with the eye is like the
Yeah,
shining the
it's
light
like
on.
amazing funnies or what's
Yeah,
it called?
Yeah, with like a pyramid or something or whatever.
It's a big eye in the sky, and it's just
yeah, it's just
beaming
bizarre.
down. What's it called?
Yeah.
Not
Amazing Mystery Funnies. Amazing Mystery Funnies.
Funnies. No, the Keen Detective Funnies.
Detective Funny.
Detective,
Keen
there it is.
Detective Funnies. That's the one. The that comic and the American Mystery comic, I kind of look at those as something that they're unicorns if you ever see them, and with the exception of that one auction where, boom, we saw all those centaurs from Rick put out. Wow, I mean, just a ridiculous number of centaurs. The greatest, I think, publisher auction I've ever seen was the Ricky Gators run that he put together of Centaur.
Yeah, and almost all of them, right? Except for like 3 or 4.
I think he missed 3. Outside of his Wonder Woman, when he had all the Wonder Women 1 through, I think he did 34, he put out. Then the next 2 auctions later was the Centaurs.
I thought he had a sensation run too.
He had a sensation run as well. Yep, that's it. That's
it.
the one there. I think when we talk about the early Foxes, the only comparison I tell people about Centaur is Centaur has the almost cover quality, not the art quality, but the bizarreness of it more than the Fox does is Centaur, and the rarity of a Chesler and the quality of a really crappy Ajax Farrell, because they're really hard to keep. But there are some Centaurs I've seen do really well. Oh, I mean, every time they come to market, there's a new high price for them.
Well,
So,
there's one grail of them all, I think, and I think that's the Amazing Man 22.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
I think that's the Action Comics of Centaurs.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, it's got the creepy like green kind of creature.
Yeah, the green Nazi ape.
Yeah,
Yeah,
green Nazi,
crushing
that's it.
are coming through.
Some centaurs though go cheap. I've seen them go cheap.
There's
Some
a lot of
people do.
There's a lot of early Everett covers that I've been wanting, and then every now I remember missing a few auctions, and I was like, oh my god, like if I was bidding, it would have went for a lot more.
What's his name? Delay. Was it George Delay?
Harold
Delay. That guy. He did quite a few Centaur covers, and we don't hear about him. But when Lewis, you brought up what would be the one thing, if I were to get like a publisher run, I'd like to have now, not including Fox's Fantastic 3 or some of those ones we showed earlier. I think it's Centaur as a whole would be the one that it's just one of those that I'm not the biggest fan of every book, but there are enough of them when they're eye-catching, no pun intended, every time. I mean, every Centaur looks bizarre.
Yeah, they certainly have a look that stands out. There's a fair amount of them that I think are pretty cool covers. There's some of them, to be honest with you, that I'm not the biggest fan of the way they do their lettering and kind of the look to them. There are some of them that the art's not fantastic, but they are certainly, they certainly are collectible in a lot of ways, right? And
I agree with what you're saying. I think the look, although I'm not in love with the look of a lot of things you just mentioned, when I see that look, it definitely looks like mid to late 30s. You can tell that's an old comic book. That's like before Action. You can tell. They just have that really old look to them. But yeah, they're hit and miss for me. I think Cheslers honestly are underrated. I mean, there's a couple that are, really expensive, Punch 12, but there's a lot of really good Cheslers, like the Red Seals even, and the Dynamics Punch. Those some of those are still seem to be going on the market lower than a lot of similar like Fox books or MLJ stuff of similar type of theme. And I think there's room to grow on a lot of the Cheslers. I mean, I saw a Red Seal. What's the one with the giant skull guy?
Terry kind of thing, or is it kind
15
of
or 20? Red Seal 20, I think it is.
Yeah, I actually have maybe a dozen or more, give or take, Cheslers. I actually have a few. I don't have Punch 12, but I've got several Punch. I've got several of the Dynamics.
Yeah, I think there was a 5.0 that Red Seal 20. 5.0 recently, like in the last 6 months, sold for like $1,400.
Yeah.
For $1,200 or something. That's low. 5.0, something else that rare and that cool. It's been going higher. I mean, they've been going 2,500, 3,000 or more. So I don't know, man. I think Chesler's a little underrated, and they're super hard to find.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say that too about MLJs. Then I mean, you get into the MLJs, pre-Archie MLJs. You know,
the early Pep and Zips. Yeah, I mean, there are some
Zips have gotten crazy expensive. Anything
I was actually going to say pre-Archie. This book, I was talking to somebody specifically about this book, the Zip comics here. While it's not the coolest cover, you know, most of them are going to be like, you know, Charles Biro and stuff like that, who we know from police stories and stuff. But,
what's the Zip comic that has like it's like a robot on it, like a teeth. There's like has almost like a claw on it. Super cool, but it's not very common at all. I don't remember the number, but
there's one.
There's like somebody in it. Somebody's like driving the inside of it. It kind of looks like a claw robot face. And
yeah, there's one on Comic Connect right now. I'll pull it up. I can't remember the number. It might be. I can't remember. Let me look it up though.
Yeah, to me it's super cool. I think So I can't remember the number of it. I don't have too many MLJs. I have some Morgans.
I mean, if you're gonna collect MLJs that are creepy, that kind of go in lines with that Fantastic 22 or something along the lines, you got to go Hangman. I mean,
yeah,
if you're gonna go MLJs, you got to grab your Hangmans if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Hangman had no problem putting anything that might have been considered controversial at the time on, and a lot of the, you know, it's not just you're talking about, you know, the character.
How did I see that?
The, you know, what was his name? Harry Lucy. Is that his name? Harry Lucy, the guy who did a lot of the Hangman covers. He was gone. I mean, the Hangman didn't last as long on MLJ. And then let's be honest, MLJ just went to Archie, Benny, and Veronica primary. So
but they have those Fujitani covers and the MLJs. The Irv Novick stuff is badass, and they have the Charles Biro covers, which I think the one that Lewis is talking about is a Biro cover.
I think it is. Yeah, it's not an early Zip, but it's
early-ish though. It's like early.
If it's 42, around 42, those are the ones that from 39 to 42 of the MLJs are probably the most desirable.
Oh, Zip 3. The Zip 3.
Oh, it's earlier than I thought.
That one.
That's it. Yeah.
That's somebody. Is that Steel?
I saw one with slightly brittle pages, like a 3.5 slightly brittle. Just earlier tonight, I was looking at it and I was like, man, earlier it's slightly brittle. I don't know. Maybe it was on Comic Link auction or something.
Oh, okay.
I literally just saw this one earlier today. I was looking at 3.5 slightly brittle, and I can't remember where I was looking at it.
Yeah, I didn't know one was out there. I didn't pay. Yeah,
I can't remember where it was though. I don't know.
Now, if you look at it, like the word bubble is him commenting on the price. 10 cents, number 3.
Yeah, he's wearing like this hooded get up sort of thing.
Oh no, it's part of his cape. Okay.
Oh,
whatever it is. Interesting.
Yeah, I've seen that one, and I don't know. It's on my list. I like that book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
What's your
on my
opinion
robot
on
covers
Silver
list.
Streaks, though?
It's cool.
What's your opinion on Silver Streaks?
Oh man, Silver Streaks, they're pretty good.
I mean, that they're really. The Yellow Claw book. If you're gonna go Centaur, Hangman, MLJ, something like that, you want something from a different publication, which is readily more available. Usually, it's Silver Streak. I've seen more Silver Streaks recently, especially on the CGC boards. I've been kind of talking to some people, you know, what do you have? Because there's a guy I know who wants to buy the whole run. And it's just, that seems to be gaining some speed. But I'm a big fan.
I have one over here, a Silver Streak. It's the no number one. And then
is that like the later, like 32, 33 supposed to be like a different, like a gal tied up?
Yeah, there's I can walk over here and grab it, but it has like a meter on there. It's a torture meter, and it'll say like painful or I don't know. Hold on, I'll see. Give me 2 seconds.
I love that one.
Yeah, I do have it.
Are we gonna do the spinner rack too?
We
It's a
want to
pretty
save it for
small
next
one.
week. It's a small one.
Well, it's January, so I prefer to just blow through it quickly.
Okay, we can blow through it.
'Cause I've been going through all the old videos and figuring out which spinner racks we missed. And
Here we go, Lewis. Let's see this
that
one. Here's
one,
the silver streak.
Oh, look at that! That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, you got this torture meter down
Mhm.
below here, which I don't know. Sometimes, like if it's my kids out and about, so torturing me. So it's like, you know. But I always think it's cool. I mean, it's a 1.5. For whatever reason, I've seen a few for sale. Not very often. There's a few, but they're always like, for whatever reason, this book is like tough to have any about this. I don't know.
It's a great book.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, one of the we mentioned all these great publishers for everybody watching here. There are other ones out there we don't even mention. And if you have a publisher you want us to focus on, just like the video, chat it, and put it in the comments of this week's show or anything else saying, hey, can you do a show on such and such? And as long as it's not like there's one issue of it or something. I mean, if you want to do Fawcett, we have Fawcett guys. And I know actually spoke to another guy who collects who's got the whole Nickel Comics run, which is mostly Bullet Man.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, some of those Nickel Comics Bullet Men are very hard to find. And I was shocked because I have a bunch of Bullet Men that my kids destroyed.
I like to chuckle. I don't know if this is like appropriate, but I like to chuckle. There's literally a series called Minuteman.
Yeah.
I see it. I chuckle, but yeah, there's like other neat series, you know.
It's a good number one.
Yeah.
So now we're going to do Spinner Rack, Lewis. So you got to join us in this one.
All right.
This will be pretty good. And let's
Yeah, there's not too many. Because we've done, we've covered at least some of each month of the Golden Age in past shows, but then we took some break. I took a break from it, I guess. And finally, I've been trying to figure out what we missed. And so this is going to be the last week of January. And then I threw in a couple of like greatest hits of January as well, just because we haven't done this in a while. So
very cool.
So here we go, 1938. This is a pretty cool Fleshel. Yeah.
Craig Fleshel cover, yep.
Not one you see very often.
Again, pre-Batman. Oh, I love this one.
New Adventure.
Yep. Number 20.
Weren't you after this for a while?
I am still after it. I'm after Adventure 34 and 23. This one in particular is one of my it's just one of those that I've had in my hands before, and I'm still pissed I didn't get it. So to get that monkey off my back, I want to get this cover. I love the way the wolves are drawn, and I just think it's just a great book. I'm a big adventure comics fan in general. Pre-superhero adventure comics is definitely something I'm into. And I just think it's
I had a New Adventure. I think it was New Adventure. It was one where he's like in a canoe kind of.
Number 27, I have that one.
And that looked real nice in my hands.
Yeah, they really look better.
I passed on it, and that was dumb.
Yep,
I don't think I ever seen it again, ever.
Yep, pre-Superman adventure comic.
That was like 5-6 years ago.
Yep. I love looking at them and having fun. That's another one right there.
There's another one. 1939 now.
That's the one that's after my Guarnier, Fred Guarnier's Great Elephant cover. This is his following issue.
That's a solid 5 o'clock shadow right there.
That's a good period, man.
Oh yeah,
that's fun. That's good stuff. And he's
And back then you could kill those,
right? It's like the Condor. We had to get rid of them. They were annoying.
I think you can kill them again, can't you? I don't know. Some list.
There is an eagle hunt.
I don't think I've seen this one.
I have never seen this one either.
Right?
Yeah, it's like a creepy. Yeah,
that's just Tech 24.
Yeah.
I have never ever seen even a picture of that.
No.
Ever.
It's dark GA right there. Man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was thinking that. I was like, this has got to be an early, you know.
New on the want list.
Thanks a lot. You just added a new one to my list.
It's everybody's list. I think 5 of us are drooling now. Like, what?
I'm gonna look up the census while we talk. There can't be many. I've never seen one. I mean, in 5 years I've been doing Golden Age. I've never
And
seen
it's funny because, you know, we've definitely seen it in
What's
book or
going in the
whatever,
vice?
but like, I never noticed it for whatever reason.
Like, what are those guys putting in the vice?
I don't know.
I don't know. Nothing yet.
It's got photos.
Is he pressing a comic?
Or I
Yeah,
think money.
Dude, I'll tell you, I want to get a press like that if I can figure out Latin. You can get a ton of pressure with that thing.
There you go.
You don't need
You
pressure.
can make a guy's eyes pop out with that too.
They undercovered like a pressing operation.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah,
kid.
in the background, that's DS in the background saying, "I want that press."
Are
Yeah.
they counterfeiting money?
I would
It's
assume.
printed money, but
Maybe they're not going to torture them. They're just going to like tell them they're like they don't know what they're doing and they're going to press like an action one or something.
a
Yeah.
Turok one probably.
That's cool. I don't know. I like
It
Turok
is.
one foil cover.
And I thought
Centaur for you.
not really a Western.
There's only 6 on the census.
How many?
That Tech 24, there's only 6.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
it. On my list.
I do like this is a Centaur.
Yeah, it's got the
Lettering itself, the Centaur lettering.
yeah.
It's got some cool clouds and stuff similar to some of those early tech covers, the
Mhm.
Batman ones.
And the well-drawn horse in anything is just pretty good.
Yeah, that was a great one. I mean, I'd say it was a great Western, but it looks like a late. Well, they look like Canadians.
Canadians.
They're just running away from the purple cloud. Or they didn't-
They're chasing
Well,
it.
they're
They got a
chasing
smoking
it.
gun. One of them's got a smoking gun like he's been shooting.
Canadians don't shoot. Come on.
And then he's got some weird like Wonder Woman bracelet on.
Yeah, he's got gauntlets.
It's called a cuff.
Do you wear those when you ride?
No,
When I bull ride.
I'm not too.
Oh, here we go. One of my favorites. This one's really awesome. Really. This is the 9th timely comic.
Okay.
Very
And
tough to get. It's got some, I believe there's swastikas on those helmets too. By the way, this is
that
1940.
and is that Schoenberg?
Ooh, I want to say yes,
Yeah, I mean it's busy enough.
but it's in his period where he's still kind of looked like pulpish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want early daring sometime.
Oh, there's a nice one.
Oh boy, Bert Spector.
Yeah,
Little
and
nice
so
little-
sometimes we in the past we pretend that we were doing because tomorrow's comic day, so we would kind of pretend that we're doing like these you might want to spec and get there early and get a couple extra copies of this one because word on the street is he's going to be a new main character for this comic. That I don't see that very often. Like I feel like it's
One
just
just sold.
really.
Was it a restored one?
It was 2 auctions ago, I think it was. Yeah. Oh, this is a good one.
Oh yeah, I would love that. I think this might be one of my favorite. Is this wait?
Fox.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
Fox.
fine.
Yeah, Science 2, right?
And Doctor Doom.
Dr. Doom, right. It wasn't Dr. Doom in the Golden Age.
I definitely want to see what that Doctor Doom looks like. It's probably really terrible. And then I put this up here because I was just like looking at him, just like, what the hell is going on here?
Well,
Like,
that's an LJ, right?
No, that's a Harvey.
Harvey, that's what it is.
Yeah.
is that truck on fire already? Is he saving them? Did he cause the fire? What kind of truck is that?
It looks like an RV, I don't know. What
Yeah.
It looks like almost one of those RVs that you tow, but then the truck, I don't know.
Shock Gibson.
Yeah, he was like the main character, I think, in Speed. Yeah, it's Jack Gibson.
More Fun 64.
I like this one. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
I bet that's cost a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that one too.
Oh, the lizard. Yeah.
It's just so like, what the hell?
Well,
With
they've
that,
done the
like,
electric chairs.
I mean the electric chair in the background
You know, you kind of lose it.
And why is he holding that black frame?
I think that's the power box.
I mean, it looks like he's holding a frame, and there's
It's like electricity coming from something
or
to
going towards it, or I don't know. It's very like David Lynch weird.
Yeah. Are we in 40?
It's almost like they're stealing her brainwaves or
41.
something. I don't know.
41
Yeah.
already? Okay.
First appearance of the Phantom Zone.
Sometimes things are weird in a way that makes them more scary because you just can't understand it, and I feel like this is one of those.
That's a David Lynch cover for sure, though.
Yeah,
This has got
Lynch.
it's got a Dickie in the Magic Forest story too, so that's important.
of course.
You ever,
Forget about Dickie in the Magic Forest.
do you ever see some of the covers and you wonder what the like artistic like muse was to come
Oh
up
yeah,
with these? It's
especially
like,
Bureau.
what was the muse? Yeah.
I used to say, I mean, the fact that when I found out about Feldstein, the story behind his girls getting tortured was the girls that dumped him. I thought was hysterical.
I don't. Is this significant? Like, is this Starman's first?
I
Uh,
think so.
I don't
I
think
don't-
It's not his
not
first.
his first.
Okay, yeah.
Right
But
before
it is,
first Aquaman.
yeah, it's early.
It might be.
Right before Aquaman, right? 73 is Aquaman.
Well, that's
No, more fun. I'm thinking more fun.
That's more fun. Yeah.
In this one, this
I
is
think-
both Sandman. Prior to this, Sandman was on a lot of covers back to back to back.
This
to
is
back.
Starman.
Right, but Sandman was on the covers before this.
Oh,
This might be a very early Starman cover.
But this
think-
is new Sandman.
I think this is Joe. I think that's a Joe Simon cover. I think.
I don't think it's those guys because I looked at that and I
Cool
feel
cover.
like it wasn't them, and that's kind of what made me think something was up with this.
it's a great
Okay,
cover.
yeah, I thought it
It
was.
could be the Sandman is because this is 42, so they just came back, or Jack
Right.
came back, or was on his way back, or something.
Because
So-
the early Sandmans, the ones just before this, were a lot of Sandman covers. This could be
Or they're right after this.
right, there are some after this.
It could be right after this where that's that first Sandman cover by them. I don't
No,
know.
it was earlier. It was in the 60s. Yeah, there's National.
Oh yeah,
The one
that's
with
great.
the ground.
I love that.
It's one I don't think I've seen either.
It's
Yeah,
really
so
strange.
that's probably a Crandall, but you see, it could be a fine. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we wouldn't even know the difference probably now.
Yeah, but I think because of the number where it is in that run, it's probably not a Lou Fine, but you could easily mistake that for a Lou Fine. I think.
So you think it could be Reed Crandall? That could be good.
I would bet it's Reed Crandall, but that's what I'm saying. The styles are similar on these qualities.
Yeah, I recently went through the whole run just trying to guess, like looking at them because they are so close. I literally just went through them like a couple months ago. Oddly enough, I was like, I can't really tell the difference, and I went through it very carefully. I couldn't tell, man. It was there. At one point, it was like a battle between the two. It felt like on who can have the better cover, and they both look so similar.
That's a topic what we should do one time. Hard to tell the difference between people. One of mine,
I mean, look at this one.
Julian Cayman Bake.
Who would you think this is?
Let me see what you got. We'll come right back to you, Joe.
All right.
I know who that is because it's on my list, but it looks like most people would probably guess one. I'm not going to say it because I know.
I mean, you have.
When most people guess fine, is that
I would guess fine, but I wouldn't be surprised. if-
I'm actually going to say Crandall because of this. Uncle Sam looks like the one on the previous.
Yeah, Crandall.
fine.
Yes. Yeah, so it's Crandall, but you
Nice.
can just tell how dynamic these covers are both for them to do it. It's not an easy tell.
All right, Knights, I need your.
Well, first, show me the big screen because I have to prove you wrong. So yeah, there's that one, and then the next issue,
Is the gun?
like I was saying,
Is the gun?
is the new Sandman
Oh, the new Sandman, but not the
or Manhunter. Manhunter.
Manhunter. Yeah.
See, I guess I'm wrong. We're both
who did the cover on that? Was it? It wasn't Simon on the 7.
these. What the hell is this guy's called? Starman.
I could be wrong. I just
It's well, according to this, it says Jack Burnley
yeah.
did this one.
Okay.
And then, so in there, yeah. So I don't know. I think the new, regardless.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Infinity cover.
Yeah, we had an infinity cover. That's what happens when I have to show you on the big screen.
Oh,
That's
God.
Inception right there.
Now I'm trying to figure out how to share it again. I'll see that.
You're the pro at this.
There we go. Going back.
Here we go. Once it's here, there it is.
Oh,
Bringing it back.
Bringing it back. Here we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay, good.
I don't know who did this, but
Rick Randall.
I love the fact that in the foreground that plane is like. Sometimes that guy's the pilot of that plane, and other times it looks like a model plane of that plane. So I don't know. It's really strange.
That's it. This says cover art by Will Eisner.
Oh,
Ooh, quality brand. Quality coming back with the triple crown right there.
damn.
The Crandall Eisner fine crown. Up.
Yeah, Eisner's very similar to those guys too, honestly.
Yeah.
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 Well, they all probably helped each other out.
Now,
This was one of the early Wonder Woman fighting.
This is my favorite
military.
outside of Sensation 1, this is my second favorite Sensation because look at the bad guys with no coloring, just toned.
Yeah.
And I love the way that looks, and I love the fact that she's tearing up a battleship. It's pretty cool. So, just a great work.
Oh, why do they have a clock on the top of that ship, though? I always wondered. Is that?
Tell time.
That might be a normal thing. I don't know.
Maybe it just lets tell time.
And I thought this was a pretty cool. I've seen this a lot, but I never noticed the swastika on the guy's back there on the right corner.
Oh yeah.
Pyro Man is just a cool costume character, man.
Yeah.
Before they took him down the funny side and he's got dumb, but he's a cool design character.
And we're in 1943, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw this book this weekend. I almost picked it up.
This book gets no love.
It does get no love because it was the only problem I saw was it was restored, and I didn't like the way it sat in there. I'm like, God, I could probably work on it. I might go back and talk to him about it, but
I feel, with all the Hitler covers out there,
there are better ones. Yeah.
this is just low on your list.
Well, the whole World's Finest run is just subpar. So.
Yeah, it's the world's finest book I can't stand. It's like the first Scarecrow, but has him playing baseball on the cover.
Number 3.
I hate
Number 3.
Book of the month. Now I love this one. I love
this one.
I love me some Mary Marvel and
Personal favorites.
Yep, this is definitely. I got a crush on her on this.
If it's not a classic cover, it should be.
This maybe every time I see this book, I'm like, that's one of my favorite ones.
And it's truly
art. Yeah, it's good.
She started her solo appearances the issue before this, but Captain Marvel is on the cover in that one with her. So I feel like this is the first true solo one of her
cover.
Because he's not in it. Which is cool. Oh,
of course.
This looks familiar.
Yeah.
Is this the one you had, yes, or do you still have?
You still got it?
Yeah, I got it. I sent it off to Kenny. It had some glue on it and a spine roll, so I just sent it off to him to have him work on it, and then it's going directly to CGC. I think this is an underrated title. They're tough to find, and they're really good Schomburg covers. The ones that are, not all of them are, but I think number 8 obviously is the big one, and then this is the second best one in my opinion. I like 7, 8, 9, and 10 the best. 8 and then 7 are the top 2 for me. So,
and it's one of the only books where they put their numbers. It says the 7th.
Yeah.
TH.
Right.
7th big issue.
Right, and I do like how the boy heroes aren't featured.
Well, plus it has cool dials and gauges and readouts on that.
And the witch doing it is great. I mean, the bottom left witch is just hideous.
So
Yeah.
I have number 9, which I think is fitting for 2020 and 2021 because on there it has like these vials of germs that are being unleashed, and so I just think it's like for the past year.
Quite appropriate. Wear your masks.
I thought this was just a pretty good Kirby Simon cover. So
Phenomenal again with the gray tone guy in the middle is one of my favorite looks on comics. So
classic layering of objects on top of each other to give you get your eye to go way back into the space, which Kirby did so often. This is a nice Sid Shore's cover.
Right. And this is the one where Goebbels is and Goering, excuse me.
Yeah.
Goering,
It's cool.
The Goering cover, yeah.
Historic. It's too bad. I never liked the way Bucky kind of looked in this one, but everything else is drawn really well.
You just never like Bucky in anything.
Well, when he's the Winter Soldier, he's pretty good.
Well, yeah, that's a tough one. There he is, the first time ever drawn.
Here's some nice
Green
Schomburgs that you could get cheaper than usual.
Right.
Green Hornets.
There's a guy across the street in a shop here who has every Golden Age Green Hornet. Talk about a run collector. He has every one of the runs right there.
You got to get those.
I talked to him about it. He says like, this is his. It's mine till I die. You know, he said first comics I ever bought. He said when I was collecting comics, I was reading the '70s Green Hornet and watching the movies. Big fan of that, the TV show. I went back and fought with his friends, and his friends was buying the Batmans, and he had more money, and he wanted the Green Hornets.
So if you have a Golden Age book,
Right.
and is a swastika on the cover somewhere automatically add like $100 or $200 just
Absolutely.
I think it's a percentage. I don't know about 100 or 200. Depends on the book value. But
right. Just it just seems like if you could take a normal book, it's okay, but you throw some swastikas on it, and it's automatically like it's.
Yep.
When we had
it immediately transcends
Oh
genre.
No, there's absolutely. It just seems like just any book that has a little bit of a swastika on it automatically has a.
When we had Stray Flexen on it, he was explaining to us that the premium of the Nazi characters or the Nazi symbols, but he was very, ironically being a Israeli Canadian, as a big fan of getting them. But he said that they're absolutely fantastic, but there is a premium for them just with that alone.
And I would add to that.
Look at Daredevil 1 versus any other Daredevil.
Well, but to me, if you get one that was published before Pearl Harbor, then it's even more valuable because it's showing an interventionalism that these, publishers were willing to do. And I recently watched a pretty good documentary about 5 filmmakers who were doing some documentaries and stuff during and before the war. It's pretty good. It's on Netflix, but they were talking about how the government was like, at first they were like, don't make German people to be bad. And then they were telling them, okay, now, make them bad, towards after they, Pearl Harbor. And so there's a very interesting history about that before we entered the war.
I think it's called The 5 Who Came Back.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a classic.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah. DS, is this on your list?
No, I had a copy and I sold it to Jeff.
Oh, okay. There you go.
You still have it, Jeff?
I'm just probably sold it because I don't have it.
It's moved around. I picked this up from a dealer in the Northeast, Raw, and it was a pretty nice copy. And the thing about this, I researched the shadows at one point. This is always miscut where the letters on the bottom are always missing.
Yeah.
The one I had was centered nice where all the letters were there, sort of like the one you're showing here. And it was a nicely centered. It was nice condition, so I got it graded. And I think I go, what was it, like 6.0 or 6.5 or something. It was a really nice movie. I just wanted to clean it up and move it, and it was a really nice copy.
I like some of the shadows. I mean, some of them are okay. I like a lot of them, but sometimes it's tough to keep track. They'd be like volume 26.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. They're numbered.
Either amazing
Shadow and Airboy numbering needs to be redone.
Yeah.
How about classics? We're doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, you just say who the character is in classics. You don't know the number.
Here's a classic.
Monte Cristo or something.
Yeah.
Here's a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harvey. I think those Harvey ones are underrated. The Harvey World War II ones are underrated, man.
But are they now? When they found all those Harveys in Arizona during the dry air and everything else, the file copies, was there a lot of these in them, or were those mostly the later versions?
I've never heard there being a lot of copies of this time frame for
Yeah.
Speed.
Okay, I just want to make sure because
The
I've
Speed-
seen so
the
many
Speed
hard.
and the all news are tough to find. There's not a lot on the census for the
Yeah.
Speed or the all news. They're tough.
Is Speed the one that there's a smaller book? It's a smaller like
Yeah, pocket size.
Yeah,
It's
the
a
pocket
pocket
size. It's like 120 pages or something like that.
it's quite pricey too if you find it.
Yeah, those pockets are tough to find in grade, and they're super pricey, like you said.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. But yeah, a couple they have really they have similar type of a lot of stuff going on the cover, but they're pretty cool.
I was looking for this for a while and just never even had the opportunity to try to get it. And then I think I got a couple of Speed comics, and I just wasn't impressed with the cover quality. They felt faded. And didn't Anthony talk about that? Like that was kind of common because of the cheap paper ink or something that they use. But,
I think one of the best speeds is Speed 28, and Speed 28 sells for 1/10 the price of Amazing Man 22. That has the green Nazi monster.
yeah.
Speed 28 has a green Nazi monster too. Maybe not quite as good, and it's not as early, but is the Amazing Man 10 times better? No. This is the Speed 28.
Oh, okay. How much
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
I think it's the best one in the run.
Well, they have some creepy horror ones too earlier
Yeah.
as well that are tough. But the one you were referring to, though, to compare against this was much earlier too. The Amazing Man was like 3-4 years earlier.
Yeah.
Right. It is much earlier. But I don't know. This one in like a 2.0, the other one sells for like 20 grand. This one sells for like 2 grand. So I feel like this is a better deal for a giant green Nazi monster. You know what I mean?
There you go.
It's still a cool book.
Nazi green monster. This is your one.
Yep. If you're into the niche of the Nazi Green Monster, you could start your entry point with that one,
Or you could go to Fenway.
or go to Fenway.
Yeah, you go to Fenway. See the green monster.
Bill Everett time.
Look at that one. That's awesome. When I was talking about buying any timely I could get at my hands, I remember when this was
W12.
$200.
I remember these books not being expensive, and
Yeah.
I honestly just passed them up all the time.
People would poo-poo any restored or any incompletes. So I was just, that was a good time.
Yeah.
And then here's why all your comics from the Golden Age are valuable.
Because
They told you to do this. Recycle them.
paperweight, Send your comics into. Well, this would be a good one to definitely trash.
I kind of want this one just because of that. It's kind of fun.
Nice.
This is a nice towards the war end.
Right.
But great Schomburg one. Look at that.
Even though it's got Bucky and young Toro on there, who you literally despise.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of families I'd rather have.
have.
But this one, and every now and then you'll think these young allies are easy to come by, and
Not.
and then you'll look for one, and it's like, well, good luck. Although I have to say, when I go to cons, I always see a lot of the kid. For some reason.
Kid,
This is another one. I mean, Schomburg was full steam ahead here.
Yeah, this is one of the best runs of his. Getting back to.
There's another one.
Oh, where's DS?
You got it? Yes.
Yeah, I had a 5.0. I just sold a short box.
Oh,
Yeah, you sold it to Gene, right? Or Gene's app.
Yeah, I sold it on his app. Yeah, I mean, it's a real cool book. I love it, but look, I can't keep everything, and it's real cool. I'll get another one at some point. That's actually, I might have had 2 copies, but maybe not. But yeah, I had a nice one as a 5.0. It had a little chip missing in the corner, and a little bit of fading, but it was a nice copy. Yeah, I sold it. I got it for a decent price, so trying to marshal some resources for other big books, so some stuff has to go.
I have to say that his knife and normal gun look a little funny on that robot, but yeah.
Yeah, I like Kid Terror in the back is like a
Oh yeah, he's got club.
like spikes on it, and he's about
Yeah.
to bald
No problem.
head.
That's
So.
an early first appearance of Negan.
Here you go.
You know the best of the Avon?
The best of the Avons? Ooh.
No, one of the best of the Avon.
I know you guys love this one.
No, the best Erie is, my opinion, is similar philosophy. It's Erie number 3, the Wally Wood cover.
I mean, to me, that's a classic book, but it's not really not that great.
No.
Pretty
It's the only one that looks like it, though.
I love that cover. I
It's
know
the only one that looks like it.
I think that cover's awesome, man. It's like Nosferatu, and it's like gray. You don't see too many gray covers like that back then.
Bondage cover, no girl art.
It's almost like the red dress and the moon stand out among everything else that's dark, and it's like a apocalyptic scene sort of, and that long shadow cast by the Nosferatu guy. I love this cover. I think it's cool.
In the interior of this book, was it also horror, or was it just the cover? I can't recall.
It's the first cover for her horror book.
Yeah, you talked about like an Avon comics. You're gonna have to get this one.
Yeah, 1947. I think it's considered the first PCH because it's cover to cover horror for the first time.
I like giant robots. This is a good one.
Yeah, I see it a lot out there in the fiction house market, but there you go. Here we go.
Giant
This
bugs.
one, yeah, this has
Giant
been
bugs are good.
Giant bugs with girls.
Yeah, I mean, is it a Graham Ingalls?
I'm not sure.
Sure. This is a Blue Beetle.
The bra.
We're more interested in the,
Strapless bras back in the day.
Strapless bra.
Is that what it is?
Prototype.
It's like Revenge of the Nerds right there.
Yeah.
There we go. We've got Bush.
Something you wouldn't see today.
No, you don't have a lot of cultural appreciation by our superheroes as much. But I do. There's JoJo.
Early. This is a classic of example of like.
Does he like smell my paw?
How they would hurt, how you could really hurt your end up going to the chiropractor after striking that pose that she's doing there.
She's getting held back by the gorilla. So
Junior.
Those junior books seem to be pricier than I would think. There's obviously a market
because of her shirt.
The innuendos in Junior rival Archie any day.
Yeah.
So
that's odd.
I've been having more and more appreciation for just the kind of funniness of the police covers lately.
Mm-hmm.
That one's pretty good. And then I always like to show.
Why do we show this even title?
The dumbness.
You just never show Another World's Finest comic.
Meanwhile, at DC,
They'll never print it.
Well,
There you go.
that is
Now
a
we're
baker.
talking.
That's a gorgeous baker. I always thought it was dueling, but it's the Baker Octopus cover, and it's all,
that's a great one.
and
Yeah.
that's Rula at her finest right there.
I think that and the Seven Seas with the shark are the two best Baker covers ever.
7 Seas 4. Yeah.
Seven Seas 4 and this are my two favorite. And it just coincidentally, they have Undersea Monster. It's not, I just really like both of those the most. I don't like those Phantom Lady ones. I don't like those.
They've been done. They're played out.
I do like that horror cover with the guy,
Okay.
creatures coming out of the lagoon onto the boat. Which one is that?
Nightmare. Was it Nightmare?
Nightmare.
Like 7 or 11 or something like that?
Nightmare 7.
No, it's Nightmare 13. That's not the one I'm talking about, though.
No.
The green. When they're underwater.
No, that's Nightmare 13. I'm talking about the one where they're climbing into a boat where a man and woman are fighting them off with oars.
Oh, that's the one I think is Nightmare, so it's not that one then. Okay.
No, Nightmare 13 is the underwater green with the mermaids. That's Nightmare 13.
What is
It's like
that?
Amazing something or
What number fight is that?
Number 49. Oh, no, number 61.
Yeah, I was gonna say that can't be that early.
61.
Yeah, here's 68.
Is it Amazing Ghost Stories or Ghost Stories like something like that?
Amazing
right?
Stories.
Had to dig deep for that one.
Is there a Dr. Voodoo presence in it? It's JoJo. Number
Is that
yeah.
Baker?
I think Joe Doolin. I'll double check on that one because she didn't.
Yeah, the arms look a little meaty
Right,
for Baker.
and he drew. Doolin focused less on the hair, and Baker was, Baker hair was everything else.
Baker had longer
Hope
legs.
likes to take care of the girl's upper body, and we should applaud them for that. This one looks like she might be kind of trans. We could skip that next.
Jesus.
But it's funny because it's true.
Venus.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hang on. DS found the book.
Talk about a title that evolved, Venus.
Jeff
got
looked
one,
up the picture.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
And that's a Matt Baker. My comic shop doesn't credit as Matt Baker, but I think this is a Matt Baker.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's only like 3 amazing ghost story.
I would certainly take a Phantom.
It's a St. John. I'm pretty sure it's a Matt Baker, even though it doesn't say on my comic shop. But he worked for St. John.
St. John's led into Orbit Publishing right around a year.
And then Venus here towards the end, they tried to get into horror stuff, right? And then did it, the last comic or two.
Yeah, it went to like romance, and then it went to like sci-fi. And then horror.
They were trying to find the niche, but didn't.
It's a fun little run. If you ever want to play a cool little run.
Yeah, 17 and 19. Like
19 issues.
You ever want to kill your bank account? Yeah, trying to get a run.
If you take out number 11,
Yeah. Well, I remember being at a con, maybe like 2010-ish, looking through Golden Age books. I think it was at Terry's booth, and he has lots of stuff.
Superworld,
kind of like this.
You said Terry's, not Teddy's.
Oh,
Terry from California. Okay. But I remember there was a guy there asking about Venuses, and I was like, why would someone want that crap? Pretty funny, but that guy was a visionary, whoever he was. He got them real cheap.
They do have it's certainly an eclectic mix throughout the run.
We're gonna have to save this one for D. Oh, there's DS. If you like sci-fi covers, I know this isn't great, but I don't see it at all anymore. I know there was a copy when I was younger behind the wall, and it was from the owner's PC. He had all this Buck Rogers stuff, and most people weren't into Buck Rogers. I mean, let's be honest. He kind of peaked way early.
It doesn't feel like Buck Rogers to me for some reason.
Yeah, I like Buck Rogers. This is like a Toby publication, and I don't know. The Buck Rogers stuff doesn't seem to sell very well. Even the Famous Funnies 3, which is the first comic appearance, I think, of him, doesn't go for that much. I don't know. There's not a lot of like knock your socks off Buck Rogers comics.
Well,
cool.
I mean,
the little giant books of Buck Rogers are very sought after, but they don't go for a lot. There are a lot of them. But
I think the book goes for a lot.
I often get people ask me about my collection, how many Buck Rogers I have. So I have 4 of them, and they're like, "Oh, I'll give you $150 for them." I'm like, "Oh, maybe, but no."
I consider those Famous Funny, those Frazetta though. Frazetta ones. That's Buck Rogers.
I think the sad thing with Buck Rogers, honestly, like if you're outside a certain age, most younger people, they don't even know. I mean, Buck Rogers hasn't been in any media or any TV
got
shows.
Replaced by Star Wars is what happened.
Yeah, I mean,
literally got replaced by Star Wars. 72.
Well, even Flash Gordon is cooler.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Flash had the better movie, but Buck Rogers had Twiggy. So
this, I like this cover a lot. It's pretty cool.
Not Jack Davis.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
There's
another one. I feel like
women.
This looks so similar to that other giant bug we showed earlier.
I think I have that book actually. I think I got that one.
Earthman.
This is why you gotta love Avons too, man. Variety. That's just, if you want to collect a fun, tight, tough run, collect Avons, all of them. I mean, it's just.
I like her wings. That's pretty cool. She's got fairy wings. And this was wild. The Vampire World.
Well, yet Space Detective followed by this. So, I mean, even Space Detectives had vampires in it all over the place.
So, like the coronavirus, what is that?
Yeah. The
That's
vampire
the,
coronavirus.
That's the new strain right there.
Is that
That will get people to stay inside, I think.
When
Yeah.
you open this up and read this story, it's set in the future in 2020.
No, I think if you got a mask, you're fine. Actually,
It's got to be an N95 though.
yeah. It's just,
Innuendo type cover there. I don't know why he would say that, but yeah. I thought this was pretty neat looking.
Oh, it's LB Cole. That's why.
Is it?
No,
Is
that's
it?
not cool.
He didn't do Beyonds, did he?
No.
It's Ace. There's your Ace publications, but I don't know. Did you like
It does look
familiar
familiar.
or just like the early Ace?
This really reminds me of another cover, but I can't think of it for some reason.
Lewis, do you like only the early Ace stuff, or do you like the horror stuff, like the later Ace publication stuff?
you know, I have actually I just literally like yesterday so bet on a Beyond book and won it for like 20 something bucks. I don't mind the later stuff. I'm more the earlier, to be honest with you. I mean, but that's just me.
I bet that's hard to get in the nice grade.
Yeah, most of the Beyond books and also, I mean, it's I
They
guess
did Baffling. Baffling is another little bit more than Beyond.
I always think of like the Beyond and Baffling. In my opinion, they're like kind of like second tier, third tier. I mean, they're just not, I don't know. But
They're not ACG, but they're better than their
yeah,
ACGs.
I like
Oh my
Gen
God.
Con. I mean, I like ACGs. I think they're just so many of them. But Forbidden World,
I'll tell you what, though, I think like the Ajax Feral stuff, for the most part, is like second or third tier PCH for me. There's a couple heavy hitters in there, but for the most part, I'm not a fan of Ajax Feral either. I feel like Baffling and the Ajax Feral stuff's about equivalent for me personally, but I know the Ajax Feral sells for much better than the Ace stuff. So I don't know. It's a lot of personal taste interjected in this stuff too.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, I mean, to me, if everyone had the same opinion, then the hobby would just be boring, right?
Right.
That's what makes it great.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I only have one Ajax Feral in my entire collection, and it's a Fantastic Fears 6, a pink cover.
Well, some of those Ajax, I swear, it's just like it's paper sacks with covers on them. I mean, it's just like the paper is just rough.
This guy either took way too long and got paid too little for this cover, or they paid way too much for this cover and it didn't sell their book. But,
Not bad.
it's a nice one.
Yeah.
I like Ziff Davis.
Very pulp.
Yeah.
Pulp style. I love this one. Carl Burgos.
Only 2 issues of that Crusader of Mars, and if I'm not mistaken,
I haven't seen that thing.
Alan Anderson and George Rousseau's inside. But there was one.
Cool premise.
Yeah, there was. It's Ziff. It's definitely Ziff Davis. But the one thing I wanted to check was the second issue of this. I think has Vic Martin in it, and there's a humor story. But there is something else about this book they talk about.
Look at that water. I would have thought it was an Everett cover, but it's Carl Burgos.
Oh, Burgess.
Burgess.
Burgos.
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 Someday.
Carl B.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Carl B. CB.
Okay.
CB
Nice.
in the house.
Settle all bets that we had that cover would fetch $1 million and change. I spoke to a bunch of art collectors about this particular book, and they said there's no way it's going to hit that because, one, it's not a very good work.
The million for original art is about the Buck Rogers one though, not this one.
Right. Well, you talked about this one.
I don't like this.
Yeah.
But
No, you said the cover of this.
No. It's the 29 of Weird Science or whatever it is.
It's Fantasy 29.
This one.
Yeah.
This one.
But we talked about this one recently. It was in one of those big auctions.
Right. And I said I don't think it's got the. I mean, it's.
I like the hair.
That it's a full Frazetta book, and that makes it cool. But there are a lot out there, and I don't think it's a very good artwork, to be honest with you. For
I
Frazetta,
like the hair though.
for anybody else, it'd be fine, but there's so much better Frazetta out there.
Yeah, it's like a Matt Baker hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great hair.
Tight
I think
curve.
it looks a little overrated. I know it's the cover to cover for Zeta, but the cover itself is.
How much he asked on it? I think it's overrated. I kind of think it's half-assed.
Yeah,
And
look,
it wasn't a good title. I mean, you could find Thunder's $20 outside of that one.
Look at that. Princess of the Sea, Ariel.
Is that Davis too? Probably. Is that what that is?
yeah, it looks like it's a shirt.
And we got a Weird Worlds. Why did I put this one in here? I'm not sure. Oh, it just was kind of weird looking. Weird looking.
Cool title.
I think I watched an episode of Naked and Afraid, and it's what one of the people looked like at the end of it.
That artwork, by the way, of that book we talked about before, the Weird Thrillers, the 1951, that's Alan Anderson. But there's, just to let you know, there's a lot of George Tuska in that book. That one. One just before this. The George Tuska's in that book. That's a Murphy Anderson cover.
And I love this. Look at this. Ingalls, however you say it. He's got like a crazy, Ebly Coleness as far as like what the hell's swirling going on here.
It's kind of a nightmare.
Have you ever looked closely at this one? Like had one up close and looked closely? There's like stuff morphing into other stuff. It's the trippiest EC cover there is. I'll bring it up if you guys want to see. Like
it's really good.
There's like that one of the heads is morphing into a hand.
I was gonna bid on one of his ones. It's like kind of a bluish color, and it looks kind of like 3 kind of close-ups of like zombie guys, kind of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But man, that thing went a lot more money than I thought it would.
Well, I think that's one of his most popular. That might be the top one for him. Yeah.
With Graham Ingalls too, it's kind of a deal. Like his books his style was unique, really cool. But like when he got out of it, he went to Florida. It was like in a house, and people would show up to like get stuff that he wanted nothing to do with his comic book history of past. Like nothing. He would get pissed off when people would show up. Like he did, he literally just like was almost ashamed of it in a way.
Oh man.
And this one has the whole left side of this book is like a Frankenstein head eating somebody.
Yeah.
And then on the right side, on the lower corner, that face is morphing into a hand, which is going down on the ground.
Oh yeah.
It's really hard to figure out what's going on when you look at it. It's really trippy.
So
ahead of his time. I think he influenced Bernie Wrightson a lot.
Yeah, I mean
Probably.
Yeah.
It's a nice one. Ghost Guard. Don't bother digging. I'll save you the trouble.
Yeah.
Oh. I hate when that happens.
Did you just cut the line right there? I mean, what do you do?
You drop everything. Catch and release.
It wouldn't be so bad if it
Go
was
try to get a bigger head.
Right. It's like I don't know what bait he was using.
Is this one pricey?
No.
I don't think
Most
it's
of these magazines are haunted are reasonably priced.
There's only the one. I mean, some of them, there's the one that's the Dracula. There's like one that's like super rare.
Yeah, number 3.
Yeah, it's like a purplish cover, kind of.
Yeah,
When I did
there is.
Yeah.
When I did an entire show on Pieta covers, this was one I featured that says, and I don't see this at all. Of all that title and that run, I don't see this one that often because I wanted to get it for the Pieta cover. And if you see it, I just don't see it that often.
I might have it.
I think we looked at one when we were at what's his name? Red Hood's box at his shop, and I think he said the back cover was torn off or something along that line.
I love this. It reminds me of those signs you'll see, like if you lived here, you'd be home by now, or your ad here.
Yes, you're great.
Yeah, there's one on eBay.
It's ready.
Being sold by, I don't know, but there is one on eBay. It's a raw 3.0 for like 400 or best offer.
Oh, it's not bad. It's a cool book.
Yeah.
I thought about this crazy thing.
I don't know. I don't really
Very
like
Van
it.
Gogh-ish.
Is this even a comic book?
Yeah, it's a like a Dutch artist. His name is William Ekgren.
Yeah.
And a few of these, and they have a novelty. They are kind of tough to find, and they're definitely tough to find in nice shape. And it's all like line work making up all that. It's like a giant maze, sort of the way he draws it. But it's like a foreign artist named Ekgren. They have a cult following. There's people that look like I picked one up at a con, at Heroes Con, on the first day, and then sold it to somebody that I showed it to that night. They're like, "Oh, I want that," so I just flipped it to them that night. So they're easy to move. They do have their fans.
It is pretty neat looking,
There's a couple of them. There's another one in that run. I think you did.
as opposed to this.
Yeah, I think there's 3 of them, Jeff.
This
Way to
is.
go, DC.
That was what they call a Friday book, right? Somebody, it was like the artist was mentally down on that one.
It's like, how could we make the Human Torch look worse?
That could be Murphy Anderson again, just to throw it out there.
It's like Human Torch.
Adventure Comics. That was his number one. That's where you most know him from, is doing the Superboys and the Adventure Comics.
That's what it would look.
That's like somebody covered in syrup just fell in hay or something.
Yeah, that's what it would look like if you poured gasoline on Chewbacca and lit him on fire. That's what it would look like. He would come at you, and he would still sound like.
And I like how it's the most amazing duel of all time.
And like Superman looks like
The
he's
most amazing duel of all time is Lee Majors versus Andre the Giant in a $6 million Man when he fought Bigfoot. There's no better duel in the history of anything.
who's the robot guy behind, like in the purple? What is that?
He's like a crystal creature.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we don't ever see that one again. That's fine.
Here you go, DS.
There you go.
The jazz version of your musical horror book.
Yeah.
It's all right. That's a cool title, but yeah, if you find one of these in like a 5.0 though, I would pick it up.
Tough book in high grade with that black cover.
Yeah.
And that run, they all had black. It seems like so many of them had black covers.
Yeah, I think like Unseen and Adventure in the Darkness all like black covers.
Yeah.
There is an Adventures into Darkness that's a Jack Katz cover that's really tough and good. I had a 3.0 at one point, and it's it's a cool title.
And I'm telling you, all the people who play clarinets, I mean, they go crazy for this book.
Kenny G's got the original art, right?
Pretty good werewolf.
Now, is that?
It's a vampire. Yeah,
It's a vampire?
Yeah,
it's a vampire, but it looks like a werewolf. I had the copy of this too.
Oh,
TS, I tried to make you a bid on this one way back when.
Yeah, I had a 4.0 or something of this.
And I was looking for it.
but he looks like a werewolf.
I know.
a cover too. And I forget who.
It's even got the full moon.
I think if I look this up right, that might be one of Manili's last works.
Yeah, I don't know. I almost think it's a
I
Harry.
don't think so. Because there's some Manili's coming up. I love this one. Do you still have this, DS?
Yeah, I have. This is one that I can't part with.
Yeah, you got to keep this.
It's really tough and it's really bizarre and
It's
cool.
just so weird.
Like it's weird. I'll part with like that Exciting Comics 45 or the Science Comics 7.
Oh well, yeah.
But I won't part with this. I feel
This
like
is just you can't like stop looking at it.
yeah, it's weird.
I looked at buying this book once before, but I didn't, only because like that pink, it was all faded out. It just didn't look. It was just like it didn't look right.
Compared to when Lewis, remember when I got that Voodoo 11 for $40?
Yeah. I do. Yeah.
We could have bought this book for like $60 that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, $60. We could have bought that book. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
and another reason I want to know it is because, like what Lewis was saying, the copy I have is so bright and vibrant on the colors.
yeah.
Yeah, because when I see
Yeah,
that,
let's see it. Yeah. Oh, wow.
yeah, see that's
That's great, huh?
that's
Yeah,
the way
you gotta do DS. You should do a keepers video where you every year, once per year, you do it, and we'll get to see like what books have actually survived
Yes, Purge.
in your collection over the years. That'll be good.
Yeah,
beautiful
I mean,
five.
press. I just bought it and sent it straight in.
Yeah, you don't see too many that have that bright, that pink that's on there just is usually faded.
Oh yeah, that's a really
And
nice.
here, it's good Kirby. Simon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what's. Oh, he's just pulling the hand. Is that a hand or a glove? I don't
It's
know.
a fart joke. Pull my finger.
The skin coming right off, right?
Out of the Shadows. That's a vampire book. Very early vampire.
Actually, that's a werewolf.
There's a
I
werewolf.
love this book.
Come on.
Love
Gotta
it.
be a werewolf.
I think that's
Love
Frankenstein.
this
I
book.
think that's Frankenstein.
It's
Could be the mummy.
a great book.
You guys should do like a Mystery Science 3000 with comic books. Or
We've been doing that.
That's
Right,
what
is what this is? Okay.
we do.
This is every week, Lewis.
Okay.
Every week.
Well, DS, did you find me my copy yet?
I haven't. I found one for you that was too low of a grade. You didn't want it, and that's it. I've yet to
Oh.
find another one.
Keep looking.
I will.
For just this one or Submariner and Russian period?
I just love this one, but I don't know. It has to be nice.
Yeah. I think these Russian era Submariner books are really starting to take off because every time one comes up, there's a feeding frenzy for it, and they seem to be more rare than you might think. Doesn't
And they're
seem
not even that good looking, like grade wise, you know.
Yeah, I think they're really becoming very popular.
I'm liking this. I like this time frame for Atlas. And their
Oh,
superhero.
Fun. Best era. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That was cool too.
There wasn't much hitting for superheroes. At the
this
time.
is like Everett at his best. So
I would
awesome.
just say this is one of my favorite ever books. Right
And it's a amazing depiction of Namor and how he just, doesn't even think twice about taking the life of a
He didn't
nasty human.
Kind of almost looks like Spock.
But look at this, DS. I found an Atlas timely for you.
I do like this
some, horror in there.
I do like this one.
I haven't seen
I'll
that.
buy that if I find it.
Now, Young Men is a title in Atlas used to was a lot of Buscema and a lot of the future Silver Ages got their chops cut in there. There's a lot of great issues. I've got a few of them there when they do boxing and a lot of sports, but they kind of got you zoomed into it by putting a superhero on it or something scary, and then you'd open up and you wouldn't find anything like that inside. You would be like here's the latest fight report from the Jake LaMotta fight, So they kind of kept it pretty clean in there. Good stuff. Oh, yes, you have this.
Nope, it has a code stamp.
Yeah, code
Oh,
stamp.
that's right. You wouldn't get it. That's
He's out.
We said you have to get it, and you're like, nope, code stamp. I'm out.
No, I like it. It's I like these sort of evocative dark war books. Like that one I just won in Comic Link, similar style. I don't need a ton of action always. I like the feel of the war books.
You don't need a ton of action. You need battle action. That's all you need, right?
Yeah, I think I have maybe one battle action or something. But actually, you know what? I have. What number is that?
16.
Yeah, so that's the first code issue. I have 15, which is the last pre-code issue.
Oh,
Nice.
And I think it's also a Russ Heath that I think he used. I'll get it. You guys could show me. I think it's a photo reference he used on it.
I usually we used to stop here, but I've been finding just going. I'll go up until I recognize a Marvel Silver Age book, and because that period between now and Marvel Age is just unknown to me. And you were mentioning the stock, what stocks are going to rise up.
Yeah,
I feel like it's this period from this point until like
John
62.
Wayne actually going on there.
There's
I can see that.
there's just not much. No one's talking about them, and you can still get a lot cheap.
It's a cool cover. It's got a
Yeah,
lot of detail.
well, I think this is a photo reference, though.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Especially like the flag with the fire. I don't know. It looks like a photo reference, and maybe he added this guy on the bottom.
Do you have a knife through
Or it
his
could
head?
just be Russ Heath being perfect.
Yeah, it looks like a knife through.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't think he's sleeping.
They're like, make it good. This is the last pre-code.
It's passed out.
Yeah,
That's
dentist. You
15.
don't know. You don't know. It could be a dentist visit.
That's a 3-0. Yeah, I have it at 3-0 off white to white.
Got cavities. So.
I should get this one slabbed. Actually, it's pretty nice.
Here you go, Jeff, for you. Your favorite Joe Meneely.
Really.
That is good Manili. That is the first Black Knight.
The first Black Knight, yeah.
That's a good font.
I think it only was like a 6-issue series, right? Six.
Right.
I think it was.
And then there are 3 Black Knights. 2 before Dane Whitman. This is the first one. Nate, I forget the names anymore. I used to remember it.
Yeah, Black Knights, and then I think they all paralleled to the Dark Knight. So.
Oh, look at this one. Boom.
There's some Rosetta
What
stuff.
number is that?
That's number 216. It's the last one of those famous funny run.
But
Here's the
last
run
one-
right here.
Oh, there's my.
that
You got
is-
my personal collection here. Thank you for posting that.
Good job.
It's my run.
Oh, look at that. You
Well,
just need the Buster cab in the front, and then the final one, the weird whatever fantasy, whatever it is called.
$9
Weird
piece.
Science Fantasy 29 is the end.
Yeah,
That's a great book.
I need 12, 212, 213, and 214. That's the ones I want.
Okay.
I'll take all that. And yeah, I just grabbed some stuff that looked interesting. I don't remember if this was anyone in particular or not. But you know, it made me think though, why didn't Schomburg come back out? You know, now that there's war covers going on, he could have.
Wasn't he doing
Got
movie
back in the game.
posters? Wasn't he making a fortune doing movie posters and stuff at this time?
I don't know. All I know about him after his, airbrush stuff is like he lived in Oregon, and there's like some murals that he made.
Yeah, he got paid a ton of money towards the end.
It's like a Schwarzenegger cover. Get in the.
I
chat.
like this color. This is just a weird color.
That's an odd book. Yeah.
I got it. How many more we got of these? Just out of curiosity.
Like 10.
All right.
And here's another gray one.
Yeah, but you can see how.
Hey, look at that. No code.
This is heating up
How come they had no code on this?
because these were a little bit larger. Too.
Here you go, DS.
Yeah, it's too big.
It's too big. It's just a dinosaur on the cover. It's not really that big.
You said two rocks are heating up. I usually see people like resting their soda pops on these.
That's
things.
that's series 2.
Oh, not this one.
Not this
Okay. Okay. All right.
Nice one.
There's
one.
so much
They're
foil.
great stories.
There's so much foil and gloss on the other ones. It's so you
Yeah.
This looks like the character from the Herculoids.
That's right.
That guy.
That's
Shit
right.
out of the top of his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dinosaur.
Where did
Yeah.
they come from? Was he?
He would shoot the
Shit.
rocks out of his horn.
Yeah.
Right.
He was just
Where would they come from?
I don't
Where
know.
were the rocks?
from his horn
Where did he have them?
I don't know.
inside his body.
That's how he excremented. That's
They're turds.
Red Hood. Here's a Red Hood.
First
Yeah.
appearance. Is that Joker?
Oh.
oh God, DC.
Meanwhile, at DC,
Back at DC,
This one,
Batman
is a valuable
Versace.
book. This is
the
a
Rainbow Batman.
it's an
this is a
expensive.
valuable one. People pay up for it because it's one of the rare detectives to find.
It is.
This is
For
this
real.
is a fancy book.
No, we're not
This
getting
is
it.
a pricey book. If you come across this, grab it because this is a pricey book because this is a rare tech issue to find.
Really?
And really, any of his issues that show like multiple batarangs and suits and stuff like that, people just
Save
did.
that for the Patreon account, people.
You mean your OnlyFans? We're not talking about your OnlyFans account there.
If you have a 5 of that, it'd be pushing
I
$1,000.
like this book.
Look how awesome that art is. That is amazing artwork. Come on. That's like
Is
EC.
that Carmine?
That's like EC quality right there.
Who did that? Is that
I
Carmine?
don't know. Oh, look, there's a nice Everett with the water.
That's a cool one. I remember
Some of
seeing
these Scan of the Jungles are impossible to find.
it. Yeah, this is a cool cover.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see
Robin
it.
Hood Tales. I don't know.
Public domain.
The Talking Helmet. Meanwhile,
Gorilla Glove. It's on the suit.
here's a 2020 or 2022 when we could go back to eating out.
Yep.
Be like this.
Hey, if she's quiet, she's quiet. Move along.
I was just gonna say you don't have to hear her.
Yeah.
You guys won't have any restaurants left up there in the Pacific Northwest by then.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it could be right.
Well,
Look
Yeah,
at that.
that'd be cool. Jeff.
Awesome
I like
artwork.
these Star Spangled War. This could be a George Evans.
That's
I
cool.
think it's Girardelli or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, Gray Tone guy,
Jerry Grandinetti.
Jerry.
Yeah.
Grandinetti? Yeah.
Yeah, Frogman.
He's an amazing artist.
Yeah, he did. I think he did the first showcase one.
Look at that thing. It's pretty frightening.
I think he did the first showcase one. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. He did that.
Great
Grandinetti.
cover, yeah.
Grandinetti.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's awesome.
I like this book. That's Gil Kane.
Yep, Gil Kane, baby.
Gil Kane. That's one of my favorite. Honest to
That's
God,
kinda
if you really want to study line art, and if you really want to look at line art, the showcase Adam Strange runs by Gil Kane.
Yeah.
Literally the best.
But
line
did he
art.
ink those? Who inked them?
I don't know who would have been his
Because
name.
the inker is the one who pulled
Well,
that on.
No, but that's the thing about Gil Kane. He didn't draw from the elbow. He literally drew one. That would be one stroke around. He would draw like that. He was
Wow.
amazing. Probably. I mean, I'm getting more and more into Gil Kane the more I talk to the other artists,
He's real
like
good.
Simonson and Chaikin and Starlin. All said Gil Kane, Gil Kane, Gil Kane.
And Kirby was back at Marvel again, even though he
For
didn't like
short
that.
stay, he only got there. He only stayed there. Oh, what year are we in right now? At this point,
We're in 59.
So I
He
know,
came back in early 58
Hmm.
from his long hiatus from 1942 till this period. But he was hard up for money. And good thing.
I own this book. Anybody want to take a guess who did the cover?
John Buscema.
Correct. This is my favorite, and I'm not kidding you. When I talk about Tales of Suspense 3, that's the book. I own.
So this is better than Surfer 4?
No.
yeah,
Isn't
absolutely.
it Peter Parker's parents?
What I
Peter Parker's aunt? Is this the one with
the
Peter
best-
Parker's uncle? Is it
No, that's a different one.
a different one? Okay, never mind.
This is where I prove that CGC is wrong. They have Strange Tales 150 as John Buscema's first work in Marvel. This is not Atlas. This is Marvel, and John Buscema did the cover. And I've been looking for the actual artwork for that cover forever.
Yeah,
It's
the one I'm thinking of is a Strange Tales, like 95 or 96 or something.
It's kind of gray as well, like in the background. Something. Okay, yeah. Okay.
It's
I
taboo,
own
you guys.
copies of that other book, and
That makes sense.
Taboo.
it's
Here
literally on the eBay save list as the one I want.
Meanwhile,
Oh, that's not too bad. Now we're getting into the dragon penguins and shit.
oh come on, dude! The Fantastic Four are just getting started,
I know.
and meanwhile,
Carmine was working. Yeah. Then we go.
Oh, Lord.
working his bank account.
Dude, that's a T, man. That's the first Batmite,
Is it?
That's the first Batmite.
isn't it?
I don't know. I thought the cover was different one than that one, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Does
I
it
don't know.
matter? It's Batmite.
It matters.
Look at that.
You have to check with both Batmite collectors.
I mean, it might matter.
Nice
It might not.
Far superior to the book he did 4 issues after this.
Yes.
That's Ditko, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not gonna let me. I'm not.
Oh, I love the molecule.
I'm on the hunt for a good copy. If you have a 7 or higher, I want it.
Look how good the Molecule Man looks. So good.
What I love about this is that's the actual prototype of Stephen Strange right there.
Yeah, but it's a Molecule Man.
Ditko inside drew the first prototype of Doctor Strange in there.
Yeah, Jeff, it's this one.
Okay, yeah, that looks more familiar.
You know what's weird is like when Kirby finally did do Molecule Man for real, he didn't look even nearly as cool as this.
No. The early Journey into Mystery. Journey into Mystery, if you ask me, was Kirby's best work of all of his
Really good cover. I'd like to have one of these. This is a great cover too. Look at that.
Used to see a lot more of them out. I don't see a lot of them now. Maybe People are hoarding them.
That's some craftsmanship. We're in 1962 now, and
Seagulls.
January I still have not found a Marvel, Marvel age proper Marvel, but we're getting close.
Sea Devils is great.
Don't you blaspheme and not knock
This is the first
Metalman.
Middleman, right? Yep. Which I'm surprised they haven't made like some movie or something about.
There was buzz for a little while. That book got hot.
Yeah. Doom Patrol was a better story. I have that.
There we go. Finally, I got one.
That's 90.
This is 63. Yeah, 1963. Yeah, 90. And somewhere the other publishers were like, "Look at Marvel. They're trying to bring back the superheroes. What a bunch of idiots. We're gonna take them over."
Classic.
And at this point, DC was controlling how many Marvel books could be put out per month.
But Ditko was still drawing inside.
And
Ditko.
that's it. I love that cover.
Is that the last one?
Yep.
All right, let's close it down. That was good. That was fun. Well, first, I want to thank Louis for joining us today on the Golden Guys. Maybe he'll make a surprise appearance again. Maybe we'll put him in the title. We'll have to think of something for him.
Thanks for putting up with me. I appreciate it.
No worries. Does anybody have anything they want to promote real fast before we head out? Claim sales, Bub's Comics, No Faces Chat, anything else? Just to let you know, February 11th, I'll be on with Bill Cox doing an original art. I'll be showing about a dozen or so pieces.
How's that for sale?
Piece I've never shown,
No.
and I'm pulling out of the vault. So.
Piece out of the vault. Oh, that's exciting.
You need to mail that to me so I can get a closer look.
Yeah.
So, well, I want to thank everybody for joining us. You guys stuck around. That was great. Thank you all for being a friend here. Let me see what we got.
Look at those guys back there. What are they doing?
We're going to close out the show in a minute here. And remember, next week we'll be here. And that's about it. So take care, everybody. Thanks again.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant.